Sunday morning, it is a snow edition of Second Cup. Glad you're with us to start this Sunday. Look, we're not trying to do the traditional suit and tie newscast. What we're trying to do here is to give you the news that you need in an authentic way and make sure that we are having a conversation. So grab your phone right now and join the conversation.
The most important thing, if you've never joined us for Second Cup, we do this every day at 8 o'clock in the morning. And the most important part about it is that you get to chime in. So go to our Facebook page right now, our WKBW Facebook page, or check us out on Instagram. We're on Twitter as well. We're streaming live there. And you can ask us questions. We can talk together. It's all about having a back and forth conversation. We've got Aaron Minkowski standing by. He's doing the forecast for you this morning. And tell us what you're seeing outside your door.
Okay, so a couple of things that we want to discuss this morning. Hopefully it will be a Victory Monday tomorrow when the Bills play the Steelers at 4:30 p.m. At Highmark Stadium. Obviously, that game was postponed from today until tomorrow. We still have a winter storm warning in effect this morning, and still there's a travel ban in place in all of Erie County until further notice. Wegmans also delaying their opening until 9 a.m. out of an abundance of caution. We're also hearing that Tops has started opening stores in Erie County. That was as of 6 a.m., though there will be delays and possibly problems getting everyone to and from the store because of this travel ban, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. That was the plan. You can only do so much, right? Now, we've been watching this lake effect snow ban, right, for the past couple of days. And yesterday we saw it kind of bouncing around over Buffalo. Right now it's a little bit north of the city. It started to come back down. So we, obviously, as essential employees can come into work and do that. And, there's a few people on there. I saw a lot of plows out this morning. They're trying to keep up with this.
Okay, so good morning to everyone who's here with us. And again, we invite you to join the conversation. You can grab your phone, join us on Facebook Live. Bonnie's here. Howard, good morning. Anne-Marie, Cheryl, Mary, Jeff is here. Janelle. Mary says it's windy and snowing here in Cheektowaga. I live off of William between Union and Harlem. Okay, so that's the whole thing. Howard, though, says very little snow in Ransomville, less than an inch, grass still showing. So let's go to Aaron Minkowski this morning to give us the very latest. All right, Big Dog, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, well, Ransomville, an inch of snow, but Lockport picked up a foot of snow. So really, depending on where you are, southern parts of Niagara County, certainly getting a lot of snowfall. Visibilities are greatly reduced right now. In downtown Buffalo, you can hardly see a thing. Buffalo, about a 1/10 of a mile visibility. Lackawanna, Cheektowaga, Depew, Elma, close to 0. Visibility is improving a bit now in North Tonawanda and Grand Island after the heavy snow that you had overnight. The winter storm warnings remain in effect until 3 p.m. for Niagara County and Orleans County. Elsewhere, the warning will stay in effect through 7 a.m. on Monday. Check out that lake effect snow band right now as it moves across Lake Erie and into parts of Western New York, especially downtown Buffalo, through Grand Island, up into NT, Lockport. Things are starting to improve a bit over toward Clarence and Newstead. We'll head off toward the east, Medina, Albion, Shelby, getting some heavy snow, and then back toward Pendleton along the 990 and Amherst. You can hardly see a thing. I'm in the North Towns, cannot see across the street. And then, of course, there's the band settling in from Buffalo to Lackawanna back toward Cheektowaga. And as we zoom out, that band still very, very strong, and it's going to be with us throughout the day today. So here's the hour-by-hour forecast. Now, the band has started shifting southward. That trend will continue by around 1 p.m. The band from Buffalo to Batavia southward towards Springville and Dunkirk. So places like Hamburg and Orchard Park, you'll be getting some heavy snows through early this afternoon. Drifts a little bit further south, then back north. So this band is moving around the area quite a bit. And then as we get toward Sunday night, early Monday, notice the band shifting back northward toward Buffalo. Then Monday morning, Buffalo up toward Niagara Falls, Grand Island, NT. You'll be dealing with that band. A lot of you are off on Monday, but if you do have to go out Monday morning, especially in those areas, it will be difficult. Then as Monday moves along, notice the band shifts even further northward. So travel conditions, very, very difficult today, but things do improve tomorrow. Additional snow by 1 p.m. today, about 6 inches in Buffalo, 5 to 6 there for Orchard Park and Batavia. But then as the day moves along, notice the numbers certainly increase down across the south towns. So be prepared for another round of 6 to 12 inches of snow with some locally higher amounts, especially from Eden to Boston, Colden, Wales, East Aurora, Orchard Park, Elma, into Lancaster. Lancaster already 7 inches of snow, 7.6 inches of snow, I should say. And you will see more, a lot more, as the day moves along. One Good piece of news here. The winds, they're going to be strong this morning, gusting around 40 to 50 miles per hour. But this afternoon, the winds will not be as strong, gusting around 30 to 40 miles per hour. So at least that does improve a bit for us as we head toward later today. But yeah, it is pretty bad across the area. And it's with the snow and blowing snow continuing, visibilities will be zero at times. 24 degrees right now in Buffalo, winds out of the west at 28 miles per hour, 19 in Jamestown, 24 in the Falls, 22 in Alden, 23 in Elma. Winds gusting 53 miles per hour in Buffalo. Wow. That's why visibility is zero. It feels like it's 7 in Buffalo right now. It feels like it's 3 in Jamestown. It feels like it's 10
Aaron,
in Niagara Falls.
Can we just ask you too? I know you're taking us through all your maps.
Temperatures holding right near 20 degrees, strong winds with snow and blowing snow. Again, with the game being moved, let's see what's going to happen as we head into Monday. Here's today. The band Buffalo northward right now, drifting southward, and then later today, drifting back northward. And then on Monday, notice later in the afternoon, that band is north of Buffalo. Tuesday morning, a lot of you heading back to work and school, will be a snowy start to our day. And then as we get into Tuesday evening, we're talking about more lake effect snow. Here's your feels like forecast. Today, at times, it'll feel like it's well below zero across the southern tier. Tonight, it'll feel like it's well below zero. Tomorrow morning, we're talking 10 to 15 degree below zero wind chill. And then Monday, late afternoon to the evening, wind chills in the single digits. So the updated Bills Steelers forecast. Come noontime, maybe even some sunny breaks in Orchard Park with a few flakes. Breezy and cold, we're in the teens. Wind chills in the single digits. Mostly cloudy skies with a cold breeze during the game.
Okay, so Aaron Minkowski obviously tracking that 7 weather forecast for us. Aaron, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Let's get to the big picture here. Obviously, with people who were coming into Western New York from Pittsburgh today, that's not happening. Right. There is still a travel ban in Erie County until further notice. I want to bring in our Erie County Department of Public Works Commissioner, Bill Geary.
Bill, hi, good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
We're so glad to have you with us. I know we asked you, we talked to you ahead of the show. I said, how you doing? You said, we're a little bit tired, but we were on top of this one. So walk us through what's been happening overnight and then what you want people to know right now and into today.
Sure. First and foremost, all the crews, all the plows from the state, municipal and county, they've been doing a great job. They've been going at this since the windstorm. I know our crews have been going 12-hour shifts, and it's just amazing the amount of work these people are putting in. But last night, the snow came down pretty good. These bands, when you're inside one of these bands, it's treacherous. There's zero visibility, blizzard-like conditions, everything that was reported and warned about. One of the things I think the public did a great job. There was a lot of advanced preparations. The crews being able to get around the streets without having to tow vehicles and lift out snow. I was in the city yesterday when that first band came through, and it was pretty nasty. I gotta be honest, but Nate Martin from the city of Buffalo, the state, we've been talking like at least every 2 hours. We're following the bands, obviously the county. We got crews. Honestly, the snowbelt area is probably the least hit. The southernmost region of the county maybe has 5 to 6 inches of snow in some spots, but you get in the first ring suburbs and like Aaron was saying, there's snow depths of probably near a foot, South Buffalo, West Seneca, Cheektowaga area. But yeah, it's starting to shift back south as planned. One of the biggest things that with lake effect, as we know, living here all our lives, is these bands could get stationary. We saw that last November, and if it does stop stationary with 2 to 3 inches an hour, it can become very problematic real quick in real remote regions of the county.
So, Bill, it's interesting that you mentioned Nate Martin from the city of Buffalo, your counterpart. We're going to be speaking with him in our next half hour. And by the way, we should let our viewers know that we're going to be on TV until 10 o'clock. And if you've got a question, we'd love for you to weigh in using our WKBW Facebook page. Bill, the one question that I think a lot of people have is about that travel ban in Erie County. We know it's in effect until further notice. I think there might have been some confusion about the timing on that because we were hearing 6 a.m. Perhaps you can clarify and maybe expand on when that travel ban might be lifted.
Yeah, so I'm out in my truck right now trying to get some real good ground truth on where we're at. If there's possibilities, talking to all our crews in the southern end of the county, the north end of the county, city leaders, also, the state. There's a reevaluation here as the sun comes up. We're hoping, obviously we want people to get out, get to the stores, get to work, things that they need to, but at the same time, with zero visibility, blizzard-like conditions in these bands that it could be 10 to 20 miles wide, it may stay, may stay in place, or may stay in place longer, actually. So we should have some words coming out soon with the reevaluation of what conditions are currently like and what road conditions are going to do to get the driving ban either lifted or partially, or however that may happen.
Okay, but for now, we want people to know the driving ban remains in effect right now in Erie County, and we're waiting to get more information as you're able to gather it on the ground.
Correct. And the municipal leaders, there's ongoing, there's so many calls going on with all the town supervisors, highway superintendents, the cities. So there's a lot of input being taken. This isn't being made in a vacuum. It's just, there's a lot of good input being put in place. Honestly, everybody's I haven't seen any major issues. I think we had one winch out last night, not even a tow overnight. But again, it's level 1. So there are some people on the road, municipal workers, healthcare, stuff like that. But right now, I've been all over the county since probably about 5 a.m. this morning, and haven't really had any trouble seeing, people not obeying the driving ban.
Bill, here's the thing. People who are not from Western New York, or even Western New Yorkers, frankly, who may not have been here last Christmas to experience that Christmas blizzard, are saying Buffalo's soft. People from Pittsburgh are here. They're saying this is why they moved the game.
Bill, he would bring this up, and he would try to get you to say something.
Well, what do you think?
Sure. Yeah, man. You know what? We're not soft. We're just a lot smarter than other people, I guess.
There you go.
Honestly, I mean, some of these people never lived through lake effect because they're isolated inland. They don't know that it's like driving in a hurricane with snow. You see it all the time on the national news down south, the hurricane, it comes through, and 12 to 14 hours later, it's gone and people are cleaning up. These lake effect vents, as we've seen, can go on for days. And, and it's you're driving to the store, and next thing you know, you're in a whiteout and you're up stuck in a snowbank. And guess what? We got to stop the plow trucks to come rescue you. So I would just say, for the people from Pittsburgh, welcome to Buffalo. You're getting a good taste of what we deal with. And we'll show you on the field, too, that we're ready for the challenge.
So from your estimation, Bill, everything
Yes,
tomorrow, 4:30 p.m., game time starts. What are you looking at? I mean, how do you prepare at this point to make sure that 70,000 people can get to Orchard Park in a safe and effective manner?
Yeah, it's football game or no football game, we're still tackling the road situations as we would every day. Yeah, tomorrow adds a little more spice to the mix because we do have 70,000 people coming out to Orchard Park. I think, again, all the coordination, all the crews, we're doing a great job keeping snow off the roads. We're not in a situation where we have to activate our contractor forces that we have on standby. We're not loading out a ton of snow. We're not having to stockpile it. The crews and the roads will be ready. The municipal lots will be down, probably, one of the best lots probably going because they're hard pack. As we know, a lot of entrepreneurial lots around the stadium are, front yards and things like that might be a little trickier. But I can tell you this, the roadway, the crews will keep working, and we plan on rolling, 12-hour shifts all the way through end of next week as snow's in the forecast almost every day.
Yeah. All right, Bill, thank you. Again, this is one of those things that's a conversation, right? You're allowed to, or you're able to ask us questions, when we can take that to other people. Valerie, we're interested in what you have to say here. People who took refuge in warming shelters overnight have to leave at 7 a.m. Where do they go in this terrible weather? There's a travel ban. Valerie, did you stay in a warming center? I think is my first question. And are you being told you have to leave?
Well, and Bill, maybe you can shine some light on that.
Yeah, I know our EOC. I was there all through I did a 12-hour shift there yesterday, got out of there about midnight last night. The warming centers, I believe, are staying open. I can, verify that and get back to you, but there shouldn't be just kicking people out to the road. That's what the warming shelters are there for. They're there to provide refuge for people that lost power, things like that. And one of the caveats I would say that made this a lot better than it could have been worse in so many ways, but we did not get the power outages. National Grid and ISAID crews, there are probably, I think, a couple hundred the last time I looked, but it's not thousands, so
Mhm.
those warming shelters probably didn't get as many people because of that.
Bill, we also got those iPause alert yesterday too. I mean, right? Those 2 alerts that got sent to your phone, they were kind of like an Amber Alert. I mean, these are the things that we learned from last year that are effective and actually give people the information as opposed to kind of drips and drabs.
Sure. And that's, we knew there's a lot of people coming into the area as Buffalo's just become this great destination and the secret's out. But because of the football game, because of the Sabres game, and that's where those iPause alerts really, it's not just people that don't traditionally watch media or pay attention. Everybody seems to have some sort of device that's connected to the internet, and it hit everybody. It's geotagged too. So, I know some of the ones that were, people driving down the 90, they come from Monroe County. All of a sudden they got the alerts as soon as they hit Erie County. So it's a great tool. We don't want to dilute the value in that tool, but I think the message was out, and it's what people were able to get. It scares the heck out of you, I'm sure. I know I forgot to tell my wife that it was happening, and she's like freaking out when she was calling me.
I was going to say, not
so-
to throw my husband under the bus, and he already said, why would you put that in social media? Because I did a little bit. We were doing that Connections game, that New York Times game.
course.
And Paul's got it like right up to his face, really thinking, and the thing went off.
You were waiting for it.
I died laughing, yeah. And he's a firefighter, Bill. He's like, really? You got to tell people that? I was like, yeah, I did.
It happens.
Denise says, Wegmans just announced they are delaying opening until 9 a.m. That's right. So again, just to reiterate, now that we have Bill here, important to reiterate for the folks, especially in Erie County, there is still a travel ban in place until further notice. So anyone who's out on the roads, whether you're on the Thruway, you're on the 33, you're on local roads, runs the risk of getting a ticket. So this travel ban will be reevaluated, Bill, in the next couple of hours, I assume.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I would probably within the next hour. There's I sent some information back to the EOC. Like I said, I was out driving. I know New York State, there's a collective group from New York State DOT Thruway Emergency Services. Everybody's collectively getting together, making the decision on what's the right thing to do here. But we do understand, some people need to get to work. We know people need to get back maybe to the grocery, stuff like that. So, but it's going to be a smart move. I can tell you conditions. I had almost been able to see blue skies as the sun was coming up. Not too far, like Lackawanna Orchard Park area, and it just went to zero visibility real quick here. So truck's rocking.
Give me this comment. A lot of the times when you're out and doing this job, it might feel a little bit thankless at times. I just want you to know that Lori says, listen, everyone's doing a great job. I wouldn't want it to be me out there keeping the roads open. So appreciation for all that you guys are doing from here.
And Bill, talk.
It's great. All right. The crews are awesome.
Talk about any communication that you've had with the airport. The airport is open, but we know obviously a lot of travel delays, cancellations. What are your conversations with the airport?
They're in a lot of the municipal leader calls. We've had NITEC calls, NFTA's represented on those as well. I haven't had any direct calls with them as I was mostly focused on our.
Bill, I think we just lost your audio.
Oh, no, what happened to Bill?
That's interesting. Here, I'm going to take him out and try again. Okay, I think we just lost Bill's audio, but listen, Bill Geary from the Erie County Department of Public Works, we certainly appreciate you. We appreciate your time. They are working so hard right now, and Bill is one of those veterans of Western New York government to A, know what it's like to clear a snowstorm, B, lead an entire crew getting it done, and C, he's a smart guy. Yeah. He's one of us.
Well, and you know what he mentioned? Okay, and you mentioned actually, you might be out, you risk getting a ticket. Sure, you risk getting a ticket, but you risk a lot more. And we learned that last year, of course, during the blizzard. So it's very important to stay home and stay safe. So listen, if you're joining us right now, we are going to go to a quick commercial break on air. If you're watching us on Facebook or streaming, give us a second to go to that break, and then we'll be right back here with you.
Okay, I think we're in this break on TV. If you're watching on streaming, we're doing this multicast thing. So you can watch us on TV. You can also watch us on Facebook Live. Coming up after this break on TV, we're going to check in with our 7 News reporter, Adam Campos. He's live in the city of Buffalo for us this morning. We want to make sure that we're getting your comments on TV too and asked of the people who need to have those questions asked. So we see your comments. We're glad you're with us. I love Jessica's comment here. We just need to listen. Sometimes that has family and friends that plow for the village. Towns, it was bad. She says some places it's still bad. Great job. Absolutely. These people are working so hard. And we really appreciate all of their hard work. The law enforcement, the firefighters, the people. The shot is changing again, you guys.
The shot just wants to show Katie. Give the people what they want, Edward. No, I'm just kidding with you.
Jeez. It's a lot of Katie.
There we go. You can never have too much. You know what? We've been checking in with people throughout the morning and throughout the night. And I just wanted to let you know, I talked to Jamie Dussing, who's a highway superintendent out in Clarence. And he said, listen, they were seeing near whiteout conditions there. They had 12 trucks out. They've been doing 12 different routes since 3 a.m. He said, any progress that we made yesterday got totally wiped out when that snow band came back through.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just what we're seeing, especially with those heavy winds. So he said they were well prepared for the event. We're expecting to keep moving up in the afternoon, but it gets really tricky, of course, with those blowing snow. How was it at your house yesterday? Because we're in Buffalo.
Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. I left to come downtown about 5 o'clock last night, and look, it was a whiteout at that point.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that I didn't get stuck in that. Drove to work this morning, and it was fine. So
again, we can come into work because being essential employees, we can do that. I kind of waited and kept an eye on that band when I woke up, and I said, okay, looks like it's, shifting. I'm going to get in early ahead of it. So that's kind of what I did. But I'll tell you what, those winds were really whipping overnight for sure.
Can we fix the shot, please? That would be super helpful. Susan, my daughter Jessica and I live in the village of Fredonia, and it's windy and blowing snow. This is the story, right? So in the South towns in particular, this is what people are going to be dealing with.
Oh, look at Kim says we can't see across the road.
Here we go. We're going to join back on TV. So stand by for us. We're going to do just that. Okay, welcome back to a special edition of Second Cup on this Sunday.
7:53 on your Sunday morning. Grab your coffee. Are you on your first cup or your second? Doesn't matter. Join us. Join in the conversation.
So we do this every morning at 8 o'clock, Monday through Friday, and we invite you to be part of the conversation. We want to hear from you. What are you seeing? Where are you? Grab your phone, join the conversation. Mary, people need to know that grocery stores are considered essential workers. Yes. Absolutely. Here's the thing, though. There is a driving ban in place in Erie County, all of Erie County, until further notice. That is the headline this morning as that snow ban continues to move back and forth from north to south.
So if you're a grocery store worker, are you an essential employee? Yes, you may be able to get in. We did see, Wegmans delaying their opening until 9. Tops told us they were going to try to start opening some things at 6. So maybe some of those workers are going in, but you yourself, unless it's a total emergency, you want to not go to the grocery store right now. That driving ban's in effect. We just talked to Bill Geary from Erie County. He said, listen, in the next hour or so, they're going to reevaluate. But I mean, look at that band of snow. That's not going anywhere anytime soon, or it's not going away anytime soon.
And here's the other thing too. The governor said that realistically, this is going to be one of those things that by what was supposed to be game time today is going to be really bad. So I want to play this one soundbite from the governor's press conference from yesterday, and we are expecting to hear from the governor at some point today. Listen to what she had to say about the snowfall.
The location of the wind bands is changing literally by the hour. But our forecasts right now are predicting that the storm will be at its fiercest in the South towns and in South Buffalo Sunday in the afternoon.
Okay, so the governor saying yesterday that we were going to be dealing with problems especially game time today. Obviously, we know that game has been postponed until 4:30 tomorrow.
Right. And obviously, we also know the reason it was postponed was not just the weather at the stadium, it was the safety of everyone involved.
Right.
It's not that the Bills or the team couldn't play through, although who would ever want, right, to play through those conditions? It was for safety. You can't say 80,000 people might potentially get to the stadium, right, when there's a travel ban,
Well,
when
and
there's this terrible weather.
You heard from Bill. Buffalo isn't soft.
Right.
This is a
Right.
matter of common sense. When you've got all of these people clogging the roads, you don't want to put anyone else at risk
Yeah.
to try and then have someone come and save
It's
you.
too dangerous. It's not worth it, right?
I also want to go back to this one comment here. It was up on the screen and it was taken down. Richard, good morning to you. Glad you're with us. Thank you so much for chiming in here. And we invite you to be part of the conversation as well. How can these places force them to work if they can't see it's so unsafe? Here's the reality. They can't. So if your employer is forcing you to work and you are not an essential tier 1 employee, those people who are life and death kind of people, government workers, firefighters, police officers, the reality is they cannot force you to come in when there is a travel ban in effect for all of Erie County. The county executive has said as much, and I'm sure that if something were to happen, your employer would feel real bad about that.
Right. So, and you know what? This is one of those things where you might just have to call and maybe your employer's not happy with it, but you have to say, hey, listen, on a safety travel ban in place right now, I'm not able to make it in. We're going to reassess once that travel ban update comes out.
So we're going to check in with Aaron Minkowski, who is obviously tracking that 7 weather forecast for us. Diane says, I can hardly see across the street in South Buffalo, McKinley area. Grace says, please stay home. That's the reality, Aaron, is it not?
Absolutely.
Stay home. That's what we need people to do
Yeah.
here.
Look what Howard has to say. We need to be sensible. Nothing's that important. Yeah. Okay, Aaron, we only have 1 minute until we go to
Yep,
break. Do you want to
1
give us a
minute.
really
Okay.
quick recap?
I can do the weather in 1 minute for you. Taking a look at the radar right now, and there's that band of snow across the area. Watch what happens as the day moves along. The band is going to shift southward and then over the south towns late this morning through early this afternoon, then meander a little bit back northward. And then as we head toward tonight, the band is back over Buffalo, shifts a little further south, and then tomorrow it moves north of Buffalo, and that's where it hangs out as we head through late Monday. So if you're in the band right now, you can hardly see a thing as visibilities are close to zero in some spots, and travel is very, very difficult this morning.
All right. We are going to take a quick break on TV. If you're joining us on Facebook Live, you can still join us as part of the conversation. We will be right back. Okay, so if you are watching on our Facebook Live, we're glad you're with us on this Sunday morning. We do this every morning, by the way, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. We'd love to have you as part of the conversation. We are going to start again on TV at 8 o'clock. So if you are interested in having this multi-screen experience, you can watch on TV. You can also watch on your phone.
You're seeing the behind the scenes right now, right? Like, so this is us during a commercial break, although we're a little more engaging right now than we usually are during a commercial break. Don't we usually go, kind of like read through things? Or at some point, I'm sure we'll get up and make a cup of coffee. That's just how this goes, right? So we're glad to have you with us this Sunday morning.
I just want to test this really quick and make sure that we can hear our friend Nate Martin, who's going to be joining us in just moments. Let's add him in. Nate, good morning. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Fabulous.
We can hear you.
Yes, we can
Perfect.
hear you. We're going to start up at 8 o'clock again.
Okay.
Stand by for us if you would.
Sorry, let me get my
And,
cup of coffee.
Yes, my man. Appreciate you.
All right.
Stand by for us.
Yep.
Aaron Mason, can you say whatever you just said again?
Okay. Aaron Mason, by the way, is producing this show. He's our boss who's producing the show this morning. So that's who we're also talking to.
I love Christopher's comment here. This is really cool. Love being able to interact with us.
You can do it every day, Christopher. Join us at 8. We have this great conversation. It's so much fun.
It's
We're
all
not
about you, too.
Always talking about the weather. We talk about a lot of fun things, too.
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning
Hi.
to you.
Glad to have you with us. 8 o'clock here on your Sunday morning. Grab a cup of coffee or maybe your second cup of coffee. If you're just joining us for the first time, we do the show every morning at 8 o'clock. This is a special edition, of course, because of the weather.
We're not trying to be those stuffy news anchors that you see across the board with suits and ties on a Sunday. We're trying to have an authentic conversation with you about what's happening in our community. Look, it's Sunday. It's snowing, it's cold outside. And the one thing we need to know is that there is still a travel ban in place all across Erie County until further notice. We just heard from Bill Geary, who is Erie County's Department of Public Works commissioner, who says that this is going to be reevaluated in perhaps the next hour or so. And here's why. The conditions outside are changing by the moment. Our Adam Campos is live for us in Buffalo's Allentown neighborhood, right by Delaware and Chippewa. Adam, good morning to you. What's going on out there?
Hey, good morning, Ed and Katie, and good morning to all the Cuppies. Good morning to all the newcomers here with our show. Right now, these are probably the best conditions that we have had so far. When we were driving in this morning, I would say around 6:45, it was a complete whiteout. I have our 7 News reporter, Hannah Ferreira, also with me out here. She's holding the phone right now. So if you guys can see, right now, we can see the buildings. That was not the case earlier. And one thing that I noticed when we were following the storm yesterday is the weather and the visibility can change in a matter of seconds. I remember I was taking a video showing the whiteout that was happening with all the winds coming through. You couldn't see any of the skyscrapers because I live downtown, and you couldn't see anything. And in a matter of 15 minutes, that all changed. It seemed clear visibility. You could see everything. People were driving with no issue besides the snow, but it just shows right there in how fast this weather can change and the visibility can change. So right now, like I said, this isn't too bad where we're at right here in downtown Buffalo, but if you look out onto the road, it is slick. Nobody should be driving in this. And I want to say too, I know I've been through a few of the storm coverage already so far, but I think this is my real welcome to Buffalo because I have never seen snow like this before. And whether you're from Western New York or you're not, there's a reason this travel ban is in effect because it is not safe for anyone to be driving around. We're not too far from the station, so luckily we were able to make it up here to Chippewa. But really, for the most part, it's going to be pretty tough for anybody to be traveling right now.
Okay, Adam, glad that you're safe. Glad that the snow has stopped falling where you are. Obviously, the wind is what's causing problems for so many people. And we've got some breaking news just coming into the newsroom here from Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz. He says, based on the latest forecast and in consultation with New York State, I am rescinding the driving ban for the towns of Holland, Colden, Sardinia, Concord, North Collins, and Collins. So all of these places in red still have that driving ban.
So we were talking about how this ban was over the city of Buffalo and then how it shifted northward, right? And then kind of came back down toward Buffalo. We know that Hamburg is going to be in line to see snow later today. But really the southern part of Erie County here again, so Holland, Colden, Sardinia, Concord, North Collins, and Collins, which you see right there on the map. No driving ban there right now. For the red area, that driving ban remains in effect. So take care. If you're in those areas and you're headed on the roads, and then if you're in the areas that are highlighted in red, you're going to want to stay where you are.
Okay, so let's get you caught up with that 7 weather forecast. Our 7 weather chief meteorologist, Aaron Mankowski, is standing by in the North Towns. Aaron, good morning to you. Give us the latest.
All right, good morning. I love reading the comments, seeing where everyone is and telling us about their current weather situation. South Buffalo, can't see a foot in front of me. South Buffalo, West Seneca border is in rough shape. I know Lockport got hit with about a foot of snow overnight. We're in the North Towns right now, where visibility was close to zero about a half hour ago, and now you can see behind me. However, a lot of tree branches down in my backyard. We were watching and hearing the trees kind of come down yesterday with those very, very strong winds. Winds will be strong today, but good news, the winds will be diminishing just a bit. So looking at the radar right now, we have that snow band coming in off of Lake Erie. In the band, snowfall rates about 2 to 4 inches per hour, stretching from southern Grand Island through Tonawanda, back along parts of the 990 into Gettsville, over toward Newstead and Clarence. Medina, Albion, Shelby, Alabama, Oakfield getting in on some heavier snows right now. The northern edge of the band now just shifting through Amherst and pushing southward. Here in Buffalo, I was looking at the NITEC cameras, and some areas along the 190, you can hardly see a thing. The 90 as well, conditions are deteriorating as we head further south. Bigger picture showing the band as it starts to shift southward. A lot of energy still out over Lake Erie. This band is going to continue with its 2 to 3, perhaps 4 inch per hour snowfall rate. Let's take you hour by hour through the day. Now at 1 p.m., notice the band from Buffalo to Batavia southward, settling in over the Southtown. So right near the stadium as we get toward early this afternoon and along the Lake Erie shoreline, drifting perhaps a little further southward later today into closer to Springville. And then we get into late afternoon. There's the band back through the Southtowns up toward Buffalo. I know a lot of people are off tomorrow, but if you do have to work in the metro area on Monday morning commute is going to be very slow and snowy with the snow coming down. Then notice the band with the winds becoming more south-southwesterly. That band gets pushed even further northward on Monday. So additional snow. This is on top of what we already have. We'll pick up Dunkirk toward Orchard Park, about 8 to almost 14 inches of snow. More in the lake band, we're going to be in that 5 to 12 inch range. But some of you could see even more than that. By the time all is said and done, your snow totals will be in the 1 to 2, perhaps 3 foot range. Yeah, that's how much snow we're looking at once you get stuck in the heart of the band. I do want to show you the wind gusts, though. Winds are gusting near 50 miles per hour this morning. They'll gust near 40 miles per hour this afternoon, and then gust near 30 miles per hour as we head into this evening. Right now outside in Buffalo, 22 degrees. Winds out of the west at 21 miles per hour. It's 16 in Jamestown, 21 in the Falls, 24 in Medina, 23 in Lockport. I want to show you the winds. Dunkirk, 53 miles per hour. Niagara Falls, 43 miles per hour. Look at these wind chills, guys. It feels like it's 5 below in Jamestown right now. Your hourly forecast for today, temperatures near 20 with strong winds, snow, and blowing snow. And there's that hour-by-hour forecast that we've gone through, showing the snow drifting south of Buffalo today and then back northward tonight into Monday. And then Tuesday, as you head back to work and school, a lot of you will be driving in snowfall.
Okay.
Winter
Aaron,
here with a vengeance. And this week, it's going to be tough because you're not going to be able to see you're going to be very, very cold with wind chills tonight below 0. And then we stay with the cold air through next weekend.
So Catherine is wondering, how long will the bands last in West Seneca and Orchard Park?
Okay, so it's drifting southward right now. That band is going to be kind of oscillating through the south towns through around dinner time. So travel is going to be tough in those spots, throughout the day, especially as it continues to drift southward.
All right, Rich, glad to have you with us, enjoying your second cup. And can we just talk about lake effect snow and what exactly it means? Because at 8:05, Grace said to us, finally clearing up here. At 8:06, Grace said, now the snow's coming.
You gotta love it.
Does that not put it into perspective, though?
Welcome to winter in Western New York,
so
and
funny.
welcome to Lake Effect.
And thank you for sharing insights like that, too, what's happening outside your window, because it just helps us highlight what exactly is going on.
And then Grace wondering, when is it all going to end, Aaron?
But I'm also curious to know where Grace is, to know where the band went through, and then it's coming back. So that's great. I see on the west side, someone saw some lightning. Thunder snow, certainly happening in this band, as it is very, very intense. In Lovejoy. Okay, so even if the snow comes to an end, the winds will be very strong, still gusting 40 to 50 miles per hour today. So if you're not in the band, you still have to deal with snow and blowing snow. And when is it going to officially end? Really late Monday. But then the next system comes in and brings us general snow on Tuesday with more lake effect as the week moves along. So a lot going on with the weather, and be prepared for wintry conditions for this week. And Teresa said it's snowing pretty good in Medina. Yeah, Medina, Albion, up towards Shelby. Niagara and Orleans counties, you folks have the warning in effect until 3 p.m. And then as we get to the rest of Western New York, except for Allegheny County, you folks are in the warning until 7 a.m. on Monday. So the visibilities are greatly reduced in that lake band, and it is coming in off of Lake Erie, producing snowfall rates of about 2 to 4 inches in the band, and the heavier snow in the darker blue shaded areas right there. So Newstead, Lancaster's already picked up about 8 inches of snow, with more coming down. And now we're starting to see the band make its way into Hamburg, East Aurora along 20A. There's Orchard Park right there. Looking at the NITEC cameras along the 90 by the 400, visibility greatly reduced. 90 by William Street also reduced. So just heads up, the band is with us, and it's going to be with us. Ooh, snowing and thunder in South Buffalo. Thanks, Diane, for that update. And it's we're going to be dealing with this band pretty much all day today.
So I'm glad that you mentioned all of these places, Aaron, that you're keeping an eye on the traffic cameras. The reality is all the places that Aaron mentioned has a travel ban. So you can't move around on those places anyway. You risk getting a ticket and putting yourself and others at risk. That's number one. Number two, Audrey, nothing in Holland right now. And that's exactly why Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz has rescinded the travel ban for that area. We just saw some information coming in from him moments ago saying that the travel ban has been rescinded for Holland, Collins, Colden, those areas.
A really southern tip of Erie County. All right, so Aaron is still checking this forecast for us. Let's talk about one of the places where that travel ban is still in effect, and that is the city of Buffalo, of course, being in Erie County, in the area that still has that ban. So we have the Department of Public Works Commissioner with us this morning. Nate Martin, glad to have you with us. All right, let's talk about what your crews are doing right now, what we're seeing in the city.
Well, and thanks for having me this morning. Appreciate the chance to just chat a little bit. So what we're seeing this morning, if I look out my window, I'm here at City Hall, is basically whiteout conditions. So that front moved in right around 7 a.m. I was out very early, wee hours of early morning hours, driving across the city, relatively clear, right? That's kind of what we knew was going to happen. The band was going to start south, move north. And when it does, it looks pretty decent outside. Really close to 7 when we thought it was going to hit. It did come in with a fury and really started hitting the city metro area hard with snow, blowing snow, and visibility really greatly decreased. So that's kind of what we're dealing with at the moment. From our standpoint, our crews were out overnight, and then starting at 7 a.m. today, we're mobilizing over 200 pieces of additional equipment from contractors to move through the residential areas across the city as well. So those are going to be scattered all across the city. We've got those in place now at 7. So our crews, main secondaries, those other contractors in the residential. So certainly, looking at response from last year and some of the lessons learned and how we're responding this year a little bit more aggressively and differently.
So Nate, let me just clarify. So you've got 200 pieces of equipment. Is that additional to what's happening in the city of Buffalo or what they already have?
Yeah, that's additional, actually. Yeah, it's a great clarification if I didn't mention that. So additional to what our crews have, we brought in extras, knowing that, what we didn't know was really how that band was going to sit or move. So we were really, really preparing for a worst case event. That's what we've got to be ready for. So with that, we mobilized some of our contractors. We had multiple meetings with them yesterday, and then have them engaged this morning, again, just to get into those residential areas and across the city quicker in response.
Can I also ask you too, because we have that snowplow tracker and we've been keeping an eye on that map. So how accurate is that right now? And then how accurate will it be knowing that we're bringing in these additional 200 pieces that would not coordinate with the map, right? Because they wouldn't have that technology.
Yeah, that's a great point. So that so I'm looking at it. So I have a split screen here. So I'm looking at it as well. So that is fairly accurate. It is not a moment by moment. So we always best practice. You have a little bit of a delay on that public map, but that does show our progress on those mains and secondaries, and that's changing. As you look at it minute by minute when you do a refresh. You are correct. Those external contractors, those ones that aren't logged into, doesn't have the equipment embedded in their equipment, those won't show up. We track those separately. We have a street by street map that we're using digital technology with photos and iPad type technology where we'll get inspections, pictures, and we'll know street by street where we're at. And so we'll keep track of that sort of on a separate side map that we know where we're doing, where our equipment is. And then we've got a further one with the actual GPS of each specific equipment in each moment. That's our real operational system where we pinpoint and look at our equipment and, how are we distributing? Where do we need to move or shift? So right now we've got to be in all parts of the city, but, as that front moves down, hopefully, right, at some pace, the northern part will clear up and then we'll be able to shift resources as we need to.
So Nate, I want to make sure that we're addressing some of the comments here, and we invite you to be part of the conversation here. Log on to our WKBW Facebook page where you can weigh in and ask questions of not only Aaron, Katie, and myself, but we can also ask questions of the people who are joining us as guests here. So Nate, the biggest question from Sally here is that she's in downtown Buffalo. She needs to get home to Olean. When might the traffic ban lift for the city of Buffalo? Because we know that is in effect until further notice.
Right. So that travel ban, the timing of the lifting that ban, we just cannot speak to at this point in time. So that's a joint conversation with, the city, the mayor, the county executive, certainly the governor, who's very much on top of this, leader of our state. So all those three leaders are going to get together and review that, inputs from DPWs at all those levels, inputs from Thruway Authority, inputs from the state DOT as we make that decision. So we don't have a time frame. Certainly, we all want to push to get through the streets and get them open as quickly as we can. That's our goal. That's a goal across the board. But we do that when it's safe and when we're ready. So we just don't have a time frame on that. I just we wish we could give one, but we're really not at that point right now.
Can we also ask you too, because we brought up comments from Grace at the start of the show. Grace is wondering, when will they be seeing plows in the Lovejoy area? She said that area is specifically being hit hard.
Yeah, no, and I think that kind of moved into, I've just seen some of her comments as we're sitting here. So we'll look at that. We've got contractors all over the city. I don't have that contractor map, but I know we have contractors in the residential streets, which will not, again, show up on this map. But we've got a strategic plan where all of our equipment is mapped out, sort of plow district by plow district, neighborhood by neighborhood of where it's going. We'll be tracking that and reporting and shifting those resources. So, crews are in the area. They may not be on your street, but they're certainly in the area. And then the other thing with this type of event, right? So especially the real blowing, the real high winds, blowing snow, we can come down the street and in 10 minutes later, depending on what your condition is, it may look like we were even there. Just it could be covered that quickly. So some patience from everybody. That travel ban is in effect, so we can stay off those roads and get through, and probably get through multiple times. Just as this band hits now, it moves. It's going to oscillate back up and forth. So we'll be all over the city, all day long.
So that kind of answers Bernadette's question. Is the travel ban on so they can clear the roads to plow? Yes. The reality is you need time to and space, frankly, to clear these roads, Nate.
So that's a point one for certain. But two is just personal safety. So lessons learned, right? What we've seen, getting that ban in place so people are not on the roads, risking in a risky situation, low visibility. You think you can make it. Or you open up your door to your house and it looks clear outside. Oh, it looks actually pretty clear. I'm going to go take a ride. And then exactly what your comments are showing, moments later, you cannot see in your whiteout. That ban is to prevent personal risk from all of our residents. And they've been great. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of traffic as I've been out for hours with our crew. I haven't seen a lot of traffic. So really thanks to all of our residents to follow that. That is very, very helpful to all the crews, not only city, but county and state and DOT and Thruway Authority.
Can I also ask you, because I know the city of Buffalo offers some parking lots for people to be able to go park their cars and get their cars off the street. Did people utilize that? And what are your drivers seeing? Were people able to move their cars off the street? Did that make it easier?
Yeah, so we opened those up. Again, one of those communication elements that we wanted to put out early, right? So we got that out early. I don't know the exact numbers. I know people have used those lots. They are helpful to us. Anytime we can get a vehicle off the street, especially in some of our tight streets, it just is so helpful to move down. So I don't have the exact numbers. We can do a follow up with our division of parking on that to see what they found. But we know it's a tool that can help all the residents, help us. So helping us clear the roads better. So we haven't had a lot of tow calls, which is also good. Which that means people have parked appropriately before that travel ban hit. We've got I think multiple tow companies on standby as needed. So, but we haven't been inundated with those calls, which is good. So I think a lot of cooperation from the community, which is really helpful.
Nate, while you're with us, I have two questions.
He always does.
Typical of me, right?
It's never just one.
And Nate knows very well what
also,
that's like.
It's going to be part one, then A, then B. I worked on this for a long time, yeah.
I do have some clearing to do, as well today. So I got to get out here soon.
I can't be here for 6
like
hours,
enough branch.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, two things really quickly. Is wind really the primary battle that you have right now?
Yeah, really the blowing wind and snow. So the pure snow levels, they're significant, right? When that band is on top of you, 1 to 4 inches, depending on where you're at per hour, is a lot of snow coming down. So that's really a key point. But the wind across that, just the regular base wind, but then those gusts, when you get into the visibility issues, that's when it's the most dangerous for everybody, including our drivers and operators. So, I was out and driving around and snow's coming down, and then you get a gust of wind and boom, you have a whiteout instantly. And a couple seconds later, that moves on by. So the wind is really presents difficult challenges for anybody, and certainly our drivers and operators as well.
Okay. And Nate, my second and final question for you, because I do want to let you get back to work here, and I really do appreciate you joining us. And I feel like this is the most important thing that we can issue for the folks at home who perhaps may lose power or may not be with heat. Those warming centers opened yesterday at 9 different places across the city. How long will they remain open? Because we were hearing from some folks that perhaps at 7 a.m. they were being kicked out, though I can't imagine that would actually be the case. So what can we expect with these warming centers all across the city through the day today?
Yeah, we can expect them to be open. So, I mean, from our standpoint, it's about a community partnership of how we help all of our communities. Certainly, if your power's out and your heat's out and you're in the middle of the storm, the safest thing is to, I know it may be uncomfortable, but is to just stay in place. Shelter in place is the number one priority for your own safety. You know, venturing out in these conditions is rough. So you're always better sheltering, ride it out, and then get to a shelter if your power's not still back on. I know National Grid crews are working diligently. I don't know the power outage count right now. We get those updates pretty regularly. I didn't look at it most recently. So
I've got to hear right now in the city of Buffalo, it only looks like about 60 customers.
Yeah. So that's good news from our standpoint.
Sure.
We've had power outages in the past, and even, that last week's just windstorm, or this past week's windstorm. So, I know a lot of work has been done on stabilizing the system by Grid. This isn't one of the blizzard situations where their substations are necessarily at risk. This is more about poles and trees. So it's good to hear that number's low. And they haven't affected any of our warming shelters in terms of their power either. So
can I ask one last quick question? I promise.
Okay, got a question. Everyone.
Have you seen any trees come down or any damage in the city, and where was it?
Yeah, certainly. We've seen a number of trees come down. Our Deputy Commissioner of Parks, Andy Rabb, and his forestry team led by Ross Hassinger have been fielding calls. We have our internal forestry crews. We've got external contractors. We've been fielding some of those calls. We know we had multiple trees down across roads. We had one in the height of the storm fall against a house. It was leaning against the house. It wasn't safe due to the winds to get in there and move it at that point in time. It would have put everybody at risk. So it was a stable situation. So I know there have been some trees down that we've been dealing with.
Nate Martin, the Commissioner of the Department of Public Works. Nate, we give you a hard time sometimes, but today we thank you very much, and we appreciate you for everything that you're doing to keep us safe.
Yes, and stay safe when you're out there as well. Thank you for your work.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for the time. And again, that final message: stay safe to our residents. And stay off the roads if you can. It'll just help us get things through quicker. So stay safe, the two of you, please, as well.
Nate Martin, thank you so much. Just to reiterate, we do have a travel ban in the city of Buffalo and the majority of Erie County until further notice. There are places that do not have that travel ban, and that's Holland, Sardinia, Concord, North Collins, those places that are in the extreme south part of Erie County. Otherwise, there is still a travel ban in place for the rest of Erie County.
So if you're watching us on television right now, we are going to take a quick break. But up next, we are going to talk with the police chief from the town of Orchard Park, Patrick Fitzgerald. He's going to join us, and we know that's going to be an area that's going to see a lot of issues in the next few hours with that snow ban as it moves south. So if you're watching us on TV, we're going to take a quick break. If you're streaming with us, give us a moment to go to that break, and we'll be right back for you.
Okay, so if you're watching on Facebook Live or any of our WKBW streaming devices, we're glad you're with us. We're glad you're part of the conversation. Look, we do this every morning on Facebook Live at 8 o'clock. It's called Second Cup, and this is really just an easy way to have a back and forth with you so that A, we can hear what you've got to say, and B, so that we can interact with you.
Really glad to have a lot of people with us today. We've got more than 500 people watching right now on Facebook. Join us every day at 8 o'clock.
Kay says it's a complete whiteout in Hamburg right now. Wind whistling, a plow came down through at 6:30, can't tell now. And that's kind of what we were hearing from Bill from Erie County's Department of Public Works, from Nate, who's also with us from the city of Buffalo. The reality is they can send a plow down, but then in 2 seconds, it'll be snow covered and unclear because the wind is blowing all of that snow.
So since you're with us right now in a commercial break, we are actually going to do a quick test. We want to pull up the Town of Orchard Park Police Chief, and make sure that we can hear him and that everything is working on that end. Hi, good morning, Chief. Are you with us?
Good morning. Yes, I am. Thank you.
All right, glad you're with us. How are things looking in Orchard Park with people who are watching on TV? I'm sorry, online.
So as of probably a half hour ago, things were looking amazing in Orchard Park. Right now, not so much. Heavy snow falling and the winds have picked up. So conditions have changed drastically.
All right, stand by for us so that we can get back on TV. And Aaron Mason, maybe you can talk in my ear. How much time until we get back on TV? 50 seconds. Okay.
Not enough time for to make a cup of coffee. Have you even had one today?
I've had half of one. Would love one.
Okay.
Okay. We're just getting some direction from the producer in our ear. This is typically what happens. What Katie was saying earlier, it's so funny, it's true. Typically in a commercial break, what we do is kind of take a deep breath, go get a cup of coffee.
Like lean back a little bit in the chair.
Stretch.
Although that is not a flattering look for me, so I'm going to go ahead and sit down.
And look, for as serious as this storm could have been, it seems like we are dodging a little bit of a bullet and that our government was proactive in this storm, pulling out all the stops compared to that December blizzard, which obviously was a hell of a lot worse than what we're seeing here. Okay, welcome back on this Sunday morning. So glad you're with us. If you're watching on Channel 7, we'd love for you to grab your phone and join the conversation on our WKBW Facebook page. This is Second Cup, something that we do every single morning at 8 o'clock. Until about 8:30 on our WKBW Facebook page and our WKBW app. We get to hear from you directly about what's happening in your community.
It's been great this morning because you've been able to tell us what you've been seeing, and we've been able to take your questions to some different people who are with us. I wanted to pull up Daniel's comment. He says he loves this format. Thanks. Well, Daniel, you can join us every morning at 8 o'clock. And right now, if you're with us and you're on our WKBW Facebook page and you have a question or you want to tell us what's happening outside your door, please do. Right now, we're going to take a look at the South Towns because we know that this ban has been shifting south. So I want to pull up a traffic map to show you. This is the 219 and Mile Strip. Boy, if that doesn't tell you what they're up against right now and what we're seeing when we see these whiteout conditions. Now, the good news here, no cars, right? Because that travel ban is still in effect, but you can see exactly why it is.
Well, and so here's the reality too. Look at that camera. It's bouncing around. So the wind is what the problem actually is. It's less the snowfall right now, but it's also the wind. And as you heard from our Commissioner of Public Works in Erie County, that is their biggest battle right now. Moments ago, if you were watching on Facebook Live, and again, we invite you to join the conversation, you were hearing from the Chief of Police in Orchard Park about what they're dealing with, how in a moment's notice, it can go from clear to whiteout.
Well, welcome to Lake Effect Snow. So we've got the chief with us this morning, Patrick Fitzgerald. Glad to have you with us. Appreciate you being with us. Let's talk about what you saw here in Orchard Park, as you were mentioning before. Things were okay, and now they've deteriorated.
Yeah, probably a half hour ago, we had clear roads and there wasn't a flake of snow falling. That has changed. If you're in and around the Orchard Park area, you know that we have heavy snow falling and the winds have certainly picked up. So, just an example of how conditions can certainly change very, very quickly around here.
Okay, so Chief, here's the reality. Today, 1 o'clock, we were supposed to have a huge wild card game. You know this probably as well as anyone else because the stadium is in your town. It was switched to 4:30 tomorrow. Good thing, right?
Very good thing. Very good thing. The thought of 70 to 80,000 people descending on Orchard Park, and they would have been doing so right now, is scary to say the least, considering the weather that was forecasted and the weather that we look outside and see occurring right now.
Now, we've got people who are really excited for this game tomorrow. And again, good thing that it was moved. What is the plan from your end and from the town of Orchard Park's end moving forward as we look at that game and we look at where people are going to be tailgating, the different lots, people moving in tomorrow? Is there any conversation about that right now? And what can we pass along to people who are planning to go to the game?
So, as we talked about going into a potential game today, making sure that you are dressed for the weather, making sure that when you depart your house, you're traveling in a vehicle that's going to be able to get around in whatever it is that we're experiencing at that time. And, that still remains to be seen. Packing in your vehicle what you need to be self-sufficient. We know that even if a certain number of people choose to look outside, see the weather, and stay home, we are still going to have tens of thousands of people coming here to our community. So a lot of moving parts over the next day or so. As we dig out, as we can experience the weather, we just watch what happens.
So, Chief, when I'm seeing Lynn's comment here, she says, I would rather overreact, be over-prepared than under-prepared, and have people's safety be jeopardized and loss of life. Kudos to the mayor and the governor for the decision they made staying on top of this storm. Do you think this is an overreaction, or do you think this is right on?
I don't think it's an overreaction at all. The travel ban is to limit the number of potential victims that would venture out and find themselves in need of emergency services. It limits the number of calls for service that we have to respond to and the risk to us and our public safety partners. It allows our plow operators operating in some pretty terrible conditions to be able to safely go out there and keep up and clear the roads so that we can get to those calls for service that continue to come in. Not having tens of thousands of people come here to Orchard Park today during the weather that we're experiencing is a good thing. What is it going to be like tomorrow? We're going to wait and see. The weather's constantly changing.
And Chief, we know also yesterday you guys were up against a tough battle too. You were looking for somebody who was lost in a wooded area, and we know it came to an awful conclusion. But the weather realistically could have played a role here too in hampering your efforts to try and find this man.
Absolutely. Overnight hours, we were experiencing some pretty significant winds, and sending rescuers on foot into wooded areas is extremely dangerous. Fortunately, we caught a break when the winds decreased slightly. We were able to get them together and get out there. But yeah, the weather presents a variety of different challenges for us. We'll see what happens here today. We've got several plans ready to roll out, and we'll be ready for whatever comes.
Very good. Yeah. And our hearts and thoughts, of course, go out to that man's family. Chief, I just want to ask you too. So if I have tickets to the game tomorrow, or we have tickets to the game tomorrow, when should we expect any sort of updates? Are you guys considering maybe not telling people to come tailgate until a certain time? Or are we going to kind of just wait and see how that goes? And then when would we expect that information?
I would say that information will be coming out as soon as possible, as soon as we have confidence in the weather forecast and whatnot. I said it leading into what could have been a 1:00 game today, but showing up hours before the game and sitting on the roads waiting for lots to open is only going to hamper our efforts to clear the roads. Anyone that's been to a stadium event knows the congestion around the stadium leading up to the event. Once that congestion is in place, our ability to get plows through is virtually impossible. So give us the opportunity prior to game time to get out there and clear the roads and make things safe.
Chief, I wonder, take us behind the scenes. What are your conversations with the Bills, with the NFL? How did you guys come to this decision?
There are so many moving parts. There are so many conversations to be had when you look at every single aspect to the decision. The pros and cons, the benefits. It really is a collective effort. It is not one or two people sitting down and just unilaterally making decisions. It really is everybody coming together to do what is best for the community as a whole and do what's best for public safety. No one wants to create a scenario that's going to result in the loss of life. So we will do what we can to make things as safe as possible moving forward.
So Connie is someone who joins us almost every day at 8:00, and she's chiming in right now. Chief, she wants to know, where are you going to put all that snow?
So depending how much falls, the piles will grow. We know that as the plow contractors are clearing the stadium lots, they got to put it somewhere, and they've got some stockpile areas. But it does at times reduce the footprint of the parking that's able to be had over in the stadium lots. They will do everything they can to reduce that impact. But it is going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for commercial lot owners. It's going to be a challenge for private lot owners that are parking cars in their front lawns. You could have cleared your lot this morning or cleared your front yard this morning, but you're going to have to do it again before game time.
All right, so give us the bottom line here, Chief. What do you need people to know as this driving ban continues until further notice, especially in Orchard Park?
travel ban is there for your safety, but also for our safety and our ability to be able to go out there and do our jobs. Please adhere to it. It is for essential personnel only. If you're essential to the operations of a business, if you're essential, you can be out there. But if you look outside and you don't feel it's safe to get to your destination, please take that into consideration. You may want to venture out and see what life is like in Orchard Park in the middle of this snowstorm. Please don't. It's only going to hurt us, and we're doing everything that we can right now to keep up on the calls for service, to make sure that we're proactively patrolling on the roads for vehicles that we continue to find stuck. And really, it's a collective effort, everybody working together.
Chief Patrick Fitzgerald, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate you keeping us safe and answering all the questions, not only from us, but from our viewers as well.
Appreciate it. Stay safe, Chief.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Okay, so some information coming out of that conversation with the chief. He just wants everyone to know, if you've got tickets to the game tomorrow, you're going to want to wait and see what information comes out in the next few hours, because they're going to be assessing things. And really keep in mind what he was talking about. They've got to clear those roads before we can get people in. They've got to make sure people can park in the parking lots before you want to park and tailgate. So there's a lot to take into consideration here. So you may not be tailgating like you normally do. We're going to have to wait and see how that goes. And they're expecting to get more information out to people.
So I just want to follow up too, because Lynn was saying, I just want to clarify, this is not, I didn't say this was an overreaction. I'm not saying you were, Lynn, by any means. I wanted to make sure that we got the government take on this about, making sure that this wasn't an overreaction, because the reality is they are doing everything that they can right now to make sure that 70,000 people will be safe tomorrow. Because look at what's happening right now on the 219 at Mile Strip. I mean, this is one of those places that a lot of people would be using, the 219, to get to or from the Bills Stadium. And when you consider the alternative here with that wind, that camera shaking all over the place, and thousands of people coming south where that band is moving, it seems right now, people would not have been safe.
No, and you know what is good to see too, that people are adhering to that travel ban. There's that travel ban still in effect for most of Erie County. Yes, the southern area does not have it anymore, and you can see that right now on our Twitter. We retweeted that information. But you can see that people are adhering to the travel ban. It's going to take time, and like you said, the wind sometimes is the biggest factor. When the snow's blowing and you're driving, that's what creates those whiteout conditions.
Bob says current conditions in Parkside and North Buffalo, very light snow and minimal wind. But then, okay, look at what is happening south of the city, and you can tell exactly why these things are problematic. And it's, again, that shifting, oscillating band. So let's bring in our 7 weather meteorologist, Aaron Minkowski. He is tracking that 7 weather forecast for us this morning. All right, Aaron, give us an idea of where that band is and what we can expect.
All right, good morning, everyone. We've had that band now moving from Buffalo southward. It's kind of reorganizing itself right now. It's going to re-energize as the morning moves along, especially as we get into this afternoon. But I am seeing a lot of comments, especially in the south towns where that snow is really, really starting to pick up. We had some heavy snow, close to a foot of snow up in the north towns. That band then moved through downtown Buffalo. It's still over the metro area, and then it is shifting southward. So take a look at the snow totals so far. And this is as of 8 a.m. this morning. Middleport, 17 inches of snow. Orchard Park, 9 inches. North Tonawanda, 8.9. Kenmore, about 5. Amherst, about 6. Glenwood, 4 inches of snowfall. These numbers, of course, are going to go up, but that's what we're seeing as of 8 a.m. Winter storm warning still in effect through 3 p.m. for Niagara County and Orleans County. The warning through 7 a.m. on Monday for the rest of the area. Here's that lake band right now. And as we take a closer look, stretching from Buffalo up toward Kenmore and Tonawanda over into Clarence, Marilla, Batavia, just south now of Medina and Shelby. Hamburg picking up the snow too. We head over toward Oakfield, Alabama, Pembroke, Clarence along the Thruway. Obviously, travel is going to be very, very difficult. And then we head back toward Buffalo and Lackawanna with the snow coming down. Elma, then Orchard Park, seeing the snow. Let's take a closer look at Orchard Park with light to moderate snow right now. But when you factor in those winds, visibilities are greatly, greatly reduced. Zooming back out, the band not as well organized as it was, say, an hour ago or so. We are seeing the wind shift, and I do expect the band to reorganize and re-energize as the morning moves along. So let's take a look at where this band is going. It is pushing slowly southward right now. early this afternoon. It'll basically be from the south towns back over toward Dunkirk, even into Springville. And then it could meander a little north, little south, but the core of it is going to be over the south towns this afternoon. And then we head toward tonight. Band starts to shift back northward, moving through Buffalo overnight and into tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow, later in the day, notice the band shifting even further northward back toward Niagara and Orleans counties. If you're in the band, you will pick up another 6 to 12 inches of snow with some locally higher amounts. Hamburg could see 14, Orchard Park about 14, Wales, East Aurora, Eden, and that 7 to 12 inch range. Winds are strong, still gusting near 50 miles per hour. This afternoon, the winds will gust 30 to 40 miles per hour. So winds will be strongest today during the morning hours. 20 in Buffalo, 16 in Jamestown, 20 in Niagara Falls right now, Medina 21, 19 in Elma, 18 in Marilla. The winds gusting close to 50 for Dunkirk and Jamestown, 32 in Buffalo, 43 in the Falls. Feels like 4 degrees below zero in Jamestown. It feels like 4 in Buffalo. And check out your feels like forecast later today. Wind chills across the southern tier, well below zero. Tomorrow morning, we're looking at wind chills below zero, 10 to 15 degrees below zero down across the southern tier. And then late Monday for the Bills game, wind chills will be in the single digits. Your hourly forecast for today, temperatures near 20, strong winds with snow and blowing snow. Again, that band heading southward and then pushing further northward. For the Bills game, the lake band will be out. May even see a little sunshine in Orchard Park with a few flakes, breezy and cold, temperatures in the teens with wind chills in the single digits. So that is the latest on the weather forecast. As of course, the band is going to continue to meander and oscillate across Western New York. So if you're in the band, you know visibilities are close to zero. If you're out of the band, you may even see a little sunshine. Bottom line is, when you're in that band, it's going to be very, very difficult to get around.
Okay, so Aaron, while you were with us, we just got some new information in from the governor, and I want to let everyone know here that the travel ban, in effect, is until further notice for the majority of Erie County, except for those extreme southern towns like Collins, North Collins, Concord, Sardinia, Colden, and Holland. There's also a full travel ban in effect for passenger and commercial vehicles on all state, county, and local roads. In the rest of Erie County, commercial vehicles banned on the thruway between exit 46 and the Pennsylvania state line. But perhaps most important here is for you. The warming shelters that are open and available now that are being set up by the state and maintained by the National Guard and this New York State Incident Management Team. So here's where they are. If you are without power or without heat and you need some place to go, ECC South at 4041 Southwestern Boulevard in, Orchard Park, Hamburg area. Wyndham Elementary School, 3870 Sheldon Road, Orchard Park, and then Orchard Park Middle School, 60 South Lincoln Avenue, also in Orchard Park. So if you need a place to go that's safe, that's set up, that is available with a cot, a pillow, a blanket, and mental health counselors, those are the places to go.
So the good news here is that we haven't seen significant power outages like we did in the last storm. Right now, National Grid is reporting in the Buffalo area about 60 customers without power. NYSEG is reporting about 33 customers without power. So we've only got about 100 or so customers without power right now. So that is good news because we know that that's really what makes things dangerous when it gets so cold.
Here's the reality. Last winter, we saw a deadly snowstorm with almost 50 people who died. And a lot of criticism came from a lot of you, a lot of us in the media, and frankly, from outside agencies who were observing and evaluating the response to this storm. Here we are. This is a completely different storm from what we saw last December, but they're not holding out for anything. They are pulling out all the stops to make sure that you are kept safe. One thing they're doing in particular is making sure that these roads are clear for you to use, which is why that travel ban is in effect. Our Adam Campos and Hannah Ferreira are in the South Towns for us in that one area, so we're going to check in with them coming up on the other side of a break. It's 8:45 on the start of your Sunday morning. We'll be right back. Okay, so if you're watching on Facebook Live, you can stay with us for just a second as we continue this conversation. We're glad you're with us.
Yeah, glad to have you. Happy Sunday morning. We're actually going to bring in Adam and Hannah because I want to make sure that we can hear them okay and test them.
I'll be right back. I need to turn off the air conditioner. I'm freezing.
Oh my gosh, there's a
I'm
first time
so
for everything.
cold.
Hey, while you're there, do you want to make me a cup of coffee? And then I'll run out and get it, I promise. I'm not kidding. Glad to have everybody with us. Hey, by the way, while we're doing this, you can, of course, add in any questions. Let us know what you need to hear. See, Ed, do you want to know why you're cold?
Because I'm not wearing a jacket.
You're not wearing a suit today. And this is how I feel.
But you're wearing a sweater.
We have a back and forth about this. Here's a little bit of behind the scenes, okay?
Oh,
we have a back and
gosh.
forth about this every single day. He always tells me how hot he is. And now you can see exactly what it's like.
Well, so I have this one thin little shirt on, and
I'm gonna make the cup
if
of
you
coffee.
could see what I see, and
Uh-huh.
you don't want to, let's put it that way. Adam Campos here with us. All right,
Adam, we got you?
Hello, yes, you should. Hello, hello.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Adam,
Okay.
can you turn your phone the other way?
I'm going to turn it right now and show you guys. We were
And
just
Aaron
waiting in the
Mason, I'm
car
just gonna make a
until
cup of coffee if you'll just
we were supposed to come out. Yeah, this is what it's looking like right now in Blaisdell and Lackawanna. Honestly, the phone doesn't do it justice, and right now it kind of just calmed down a little bit. Let me go sideways so y'all can see. Just right now, this is why we're pulled over. We're right here at the gas station. I'm with Hannah. I don't know where she went. But we pulled over because literally right now we cannot even see this building in front of us right there, just literally 2 minutes ago. So it's starting to clear out right now. We're actually, you can kind of see some blue skies. That's
Adam,
nice.
for whatever reason, we can't see your. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your picture, but okay, that's for the best now.
Can you see me now?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a Verizon commercial.
Perfect. Yeah, no. So we, Hannah can say hi. So
Aaron Mason.
we,
Okay, are we coming back from a break? Okay, we've got about 50 seconds until we're back from break. Karen, look at Ed, gotta love you. I'm glad that you're with us. We're having a lot of fun. Look, we're not trying to do this like stuffy news show with suits and ties. It's Sunday. We know everyone is just hanging out and enjoying the day inside because that's the best way.
making
to
a
keep
warm
yourself
cup of
safe.
coffee.
Right.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We're so glad to have you along with us this morning.
We are going to merge back in with our TV viewers, so stand by as we do just that. Okay, welcome back. It's 8:47 on this Sunday for a special edition of Second Cup. Glad you're with us. Grab your phone, join the conversation. Log on to our WKBW Facebook page. You can actually weigh in. We'll take your comments. You can ask our reporters, our meteorologist, and folks that we have on some questions.
We're so glad to have you with us. Michelle saying, thank you for doing this and stay safe. Someone please give Ed a sweater.
I know. I might go get my suit jacket. We just turned the air off, and Lord knows we don't need the air on here.
Karen, thank you for joining us, saying we love you. Live show. You guys are awesome. Real TV, and we love it. So again, if you have something you want to say, and let us know what the conditions are like where you are, because we know it's very different all across Western New York with this lake effect snow ban.
Okay, Richard, glad you're with us. Did you say full travel ban? What happens if non-essential people are on the roads because of business owners? Okay, a couple of things here to unpack. Number one, yes, there is a travel ban in Erie County for all parts north, I would say, of Holland, Sardinia, Collins, Concord.
It's just the very southern tip of
The
Erie County
extreme areas.
that's not included.
Okay, but everywhere else, there is in fact a travel advisory. Thank you, John. A travel ban. So no, you cannot go out on the roads. A couple of other things to unpack here. Businesses cannot make you leave your house and come to work if there is a travel ban. So keep that in the back of your mind. Obviously, personal safety is important, but we also need to make sure that the crews on the road are able to do their jobs.
Well, speaking of crews on the road, we have essential employees here who are showing you exactly what things look like this morning. Our Adam Campos is out there right now. Adam, good morning to you. I want you to tell everybody where you are and what exactly you're seeing, the conditions that you've been seeing this morning.
Hey, good morning, Ed and Katie, and good morning, everybody. Thank you again for joining us. Right now, we're in between Blaisdell and Lackawanna. We're at a gas station. We were supposed to be heading down to Hamburg, but right here, You see that building right there? Just 5 minutes ago, I want to say now, we could not even see that building while we were driving. So we pulled over here, right here at this Valero gas station. I mean, and just right there, just to tell you guys, that's how bad the conditions were. The fact that we could not even see that building 5 minutes ago. So it's kind of cleared out, but the wind right now is still whipping. You can kind of see it starting to whip through a little bit. And as we were driving, you might have saw a video a little bit earlier. We showed a knocked over street sign. And then that's how strong it was. Piled with snow. It was taken off by the wind. You can see a plow coming through right now. The plows are working hard. We've seen a plow on almost every street, like Main Street, that we have driven through right now. So they're out, but because of how strong the winds are right now, it's just pushing all of this snow back onto the road. So the conditions right now, it's cleared up where we're at, but I think all throughout the South Side, if you just keep looking down a little bit, it is still not the best visibility at all.
So, Adam, tell us about your drive, because I know you're with our 7 News reporter, Hannah Ferreira. Look, the reality is there's a driving ban. We're trying to keep you guys safe. We don't want you driving all over. There's a plow. Talk to me about what your drive was like coming down to this area.
So we were fine when we were in Buffalo. As soon as we got past South Buffalo and we kind of hit Lackawanna, that's when we started to see the whiteout conditions. As soon as we got into South Towns, as I've learned about snow here in Buffalo, it just completely whited out. We were able to get a little bit farther down, but at one point there was another car that was in front of us. I want to even say just maybe about 50 feet or maybe about 20 yards. I couldn't tell you for a fact, but I couldn't even see them in front of me. And that's how bad it got. We're going to get out of the way right here because this pile's trying to get through. So, but it's the fact that I couldn't even see the car in front of me, and it was not that far ahead. That's why we decided to pull over right now.
Yeah, well, and this is just a typical lake effect snow band, as we know, and it's moving up and down. And so we're going to be able to see 1 minute and then not see another minute, which is exactly what I think someone just said in Cheektowaga. I just saw that comment saying in Cheektowaga it looked fine, and then all of a sudden it went downhill. And that's exactly what Adam's experiencing as we watch that band move.
So Lori's saying it just started snowing in Attica. Tarsha says, Adam, you're appreciated. We certainly do appreciate your hard work, and Hannah as well. Look, I want to reiterate. Oh, go ahead.
I just said give some love to Hannah too. She's out here with me on the phone. So
yeah, we love Hannah. She's adorable.
Yes.
Okay,
and look at you can see the blue skies.
I know
behind Adam too.
Well, and that's the craziest part here. So in some places when you're waking up this morning, Adam, the reality is you can see the sun, but where you are, it's kind of ominous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right now, the sun's finally starting to peek out. But again, it just shows how fast the conditions can change. Because like I said, literally 10 minutes ago now at this point, we could not even see this house that was right here. And now I think this is the first time we've seen blue skies in a few days, actually. So it's, for me, I'm liking this, the fact that it's starting to clear up. But as soon as you look out towards the way that the clouds are moving in, you could just see the gray skies that these blue skies that we're kind of getting a view of right now, they're not going to be here for long. It wouldn't surprise me if sooner or later this starts to change back into what we were just experiencing just a few minutes ago.
Hey, Adam, I just have one question for you. While you were out on the roads, did you see a lot of people driving? Grace was wondering about why we were seeing cars going by. I see a lot of the ones that we're looking at are plow trucks. Did you see a lot of people out on the roads?
So there actually were a good amount of people out. Not like on a typical day, obviously, but I would say there were definitely more cars out than we would have expected, and especially when we were driving on the 190, and then we exited off before we hit the 90 to be able to come down here to Lackawanna. We want to take the streets. I wanted to stay off the freeway as much as I possibly could, and there were actually a few cars driving around, and right here on the streets, we've seen enough traffic to come through that kind of question, like, okay, why are these people out? But right now, not too many cars. If anything, you're seeing emergency crews or personnel coming through. We've seen the plows. We've seen different emergency trucks. We saw an electric truck just come through right now. You see Lackawanna police is out on their tread. So there is some traffic, but it's still not like what you would see on a typical day.
Okay, so I just want to explain to you what you just saw. Perhaps one of the most important elements of snow response, And we know that Erie County has tracked vehicles. We know the city of Buffalo just got those tracked vehicles, especially after last year's deadly December blizzard. That Lackawanna police officer responding, patrolling. Here's the reality. There is a driving ban right now in Lackawanna, and you could see that wind whipping up all of the snow in that area, and that's why it's creating near zero visibility in some places. So I want to just go over where all of these driving bans still exist. Grand Island, Tonawanda, Amherst, Clarence, Newstead, Alden, Lancaster, Cheektowaga, the city of Buffalo, Lackawanna, West Seneca, Elma, Marilla, Wales, Aurora, East Aurora, Orchard Park, Hamburg, Evans, Eden, the town of Boston, and Brant. So if you're in any of those places, you should not be on the road unless you are part of a life-saving agency, fire, police officers, going to a hospital. There is a complete driving ban until further notice.
Now, Sandy had an interesting point saying that shift change was at 8 a.m. for a number of these emergency crews. She was saying you see a lot of pickup trucks, firemen, police officers maybe going out for that shift change. They have it at 8. Again, they can be out there. They are essential workers. You're taking a look right now again at the map of that travel ban. You see the only area it's not in effect. Ed read you all the areas it was. The only areas it's not is the southern part of Erie County right now. Okay,
we're going to take a quick break on TV. So if you are watching on Channel 7, we certainly invite you to be part of the conversation on our WKBW Facebook page. Grab your phone, log on to our Facebook page, and put a comment here. We'll be sure to pull it up on TV and answer it for you. And we're going to go on for another hour until about 10 o'clock. So grab your phone, join the conversation, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I'm sorry, say that again. We come back at 58:26. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said 56:26. Okay, so just tell me when we start back up on TV. That's what we need to know right now.
And if you're watching us right now, streaming us, you're getting to see the behind the scenes here. As we,
Sorry.
Yeah, we had the break time at 8:56:26. So let us know if there's a time to go back on.
30 away. Okay, sounds good. So we'll check in with Aaron Minkowski at the top of the hour here. Obviously, as you're seeing what's going on here, we're bringing you the very latest.
Yeah, and we are so glad to have so many of you with us this morning. We can see how many people are watching on Facebook. We've got over 500. So stand by. We're going to join our television viewers back in. Hi, welcome back, everybody. It is 8:57 here on the start of your Sunday morning. We've been with you since 7:30 this morning for this special edition of Second Cup. If you've never watched Second Cup before, it's a show we do every morning at 8 o'clock. Go to our WKBW Facebook page. That's where you're able to chime in, and we can take your questions. You can ask us questions. We can take them also directly to some of the guests that we've had this morning. We talked to the chief of police in Orchard Park. We talked to DPW in Erie County, as well as the city of Buffalo.
Okay, so here's the headline as you're waking up this morning. You're watching on Channel 7, and you're logging on to our WKBW Facebook page. The reality is that there is still a driving ban in the majority of Erie County, except for the extreme southern part of Erie County. We're talking Collins, North Collins, Sardinia, Holland, those areas. We are going to check in with our 7 News reporter, Adam Campos, who's with us from the South Towns. We're also going to check in with our 7 weather meteorologist, Aaron Minkowski, who's with us in the North Towns. Here's where the band is right now, and it's been moving all over the place all morning long. We've heard from so many of you at this point that for 1 second it was clear, you saw the sun. The next second, you saw nothing because there were extreme whiteout conditions. We need to let you know as well that there are a number of warming shelters that are open and available for you to use, some that are even being run by the state. So if you lose power or you lose heat, there are some options open and available for you. Erie County Community College, the South Campus on Southwestern Boulevard, is open and available for you. That's being run by the National Guard, along with Wyndham Elementary School on Sheldon Road in Orchard Park and Orchard Park Middle School, South Lincoln Avenue in Orchard Park. And that's in addition to the warming shelters, 9 of them that have been set up in the city of Buffalo.
Now, as you take a look at that band, you can see the southern part of Erie County is not really getting hit by that band. Collins, North Collins, Concord, Colden, Holland, Sardinia. That is the only area right now that does not have this travel ban in Erie County. And that's why I want to bring in our chief meteorologist, Aaron Mankowski, because he is tracking this ban. We've been watching it move throughout the morning, Aaron. You're home in Amherst and you stayed home because of the conditions this morning. Let's talk people through what to expect today.
Yeah, the band is oscillating across parts of western New York. It was north of Buffalo overnight, places like North Tonawanda, Middleport, Lockport, picking up close to a foot of snow. And now the band shifted southward through the metro area. We had watching the band kind of reorganize right now. So it's interesting. I'm seeing some of the comments. Mark in northern Cheektowaga by the airport, it was clear 5 minutes ago, and now it's a whiteout. You can't see the neighbor across the street. That's a very common theme, and that's very common with lake effect snow, where some spots you'll be fine and others visibility will be close to zero. And now it's starting to snow in Boston right now as this band continues to shift further southward. So checking out the band at the moment. Grand Island getting more snow again. Amherst back toward Buffalo. Clarence saw that Batavia visibility close to zero. And then we head over toward Medina, Shelby, Albion with several inches of snow from last night. Same thing with Royalton. The band a little disorganized near Lackawanna and Elma, where visibilities were close to zero about 30 minutes ago. And now there's the band shifting southward, just pushing into Boston along the 219, along Route 16 toward Holland with some snow that'll start to really pick up. Same thing with Evans. Let's head toward Orchard Park. Of course, we got the Bills game that was postponed and pushed toward tomorrow. Right now, a little break in OP. Saw some of you saying a little sunshine starting to show through the cloud cover. But don't worry, more snow is on the way for Orchard Park. There's that band that'll get itself better organized across Lake Erie. The winds will become very aligned, and we'll have that lake band, which will settle southward later today. So right now, between now and around noontime, it's kind of where the band is going to be. And then as we head toward early afternoon, notice it starts to push more south of Buffalo. It could oscillate a bit north and southward, just that's the way the winds have been with this system. It is a very impatient system, does not want to stay in one spot for any length of time. And then as we get toward tonight, it heads back toward Buffalo, and then tomorrow morning through the metro area and into the north towns. And then during the day on Monday, notice the band kind of staying well to our north. So late Monday, the band will not impact the game, as we will have the snow today in Buffalo, another 5 to 7 inches. South towns, you're going to be in that 10 to 14 inch range. Winds, bad news, they're still strong. Good news, they won't be as strong today as this afternoon as they were yesterday, or they are this morning. So winds will be about 30 to 40 miles per hour later today. We have 14 in Jamestown, 20 in Niagara Falls right now. Look at the winds, gusting 51 miles per hour in Dunkirk, 37 miles per hour in Buffalo, 36 miles per hour in the Falls. Feels like it's 7 degrees below zero right now in Jamestown. Brr. And look at your feels like forecast. This afternoon, wind chills in the single digits in the metro area. It'll feel like it's well below zero across the southern tier. And as we head toward the hour-by-hour forecast again, notice the band settling in the south towns later this afternoon and then pushing northward tonight. Do want to get you updated on the game day forecast now that's moved for your tailgaters around lunchtime. Breezy and cold, a few flakes, also a little sunshine. Temperatures in the teens. Winds out of the southwest around 10 to 20 miles per hour, but winds will not be as strong for the game as they are today or as they were yesterday. And during the game, mostly cloudy, wind chills in the single digits. So yeah, it's going to be a cold one. We do have some snow totals for you right now, and you can let us know what you've received. Middleport leading the snow totals at 17 inches, Orchard Park 9 inches, NT close to 9 foot. I've seen in Lockport close to 8 inches in Lancaster, and Kenmore about 5, Glenwood about 4. So skiers very happy, as the ski resorts are certainly getting some fresh powder. And if they don't get a lot of snow, they will be able to make snow, as it is going to be cold as the week moves along. Temperatures will be holding near 20 for highs, with lows near 10. And again, on the radar, notice there is the lake effect snow band.
Aaron, I want to bring up this comment from Deneen, who's wondering about Batavia, the weather and how much snow they're going to be getting in Batavia.
Oh, well, I did just mention that Batavia has whiteouts. They're going to pick up about 4 to 8 inches of snow in Batavia throughout the day today, with the blowing winds causing whiteouts. So, yeah, Batavia getting a fair amount of snow, and as that band shifts further southward, you'll be out of the heavy snow for a bit, and then the band will push back northward.
Beth wants to know, what do you think right now? Will there be school on Tuesday? Is it too early to tell? What do we have to wait and see for here?
If the Bills play.
You know what? If we did not, so if we were to not have school on Tuesday, it would be because of the wind chills. Wind chills Tuesday morning will be quite cold, and we will have a general snow on Tuesday. It does not look like, and then lake effect snow will develop later on Tuesday. But I think the morning could see some delays Tuesday morning, but I'm sure they want to get the kids back into school after not being in there on Monday. And then, but Tuesday is going to be it's going to be a typical winter week in Western New York for mid-late January, with very cold temperatures and that snow. Well, Robin just said whiteouts in Alden. Yep, that makes sense with the radar. So thank you for that update from Alden.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that we're also highlighting Jeremy's voice here. He says he works for AAA in Lockport. He says a lot of cars are in the ditch. We are working hard. Please stay home. So can we focus on Lockport? Because I saw, Aaron, a lot of people were saying a little bit earlier that there's a foot of snow there. So can we zoom into Niagara County and talk about what's happening north of this snow band right now?
Yep, there we are with Lockport. So yes, I'm getting reports, especially in South Lockport, of a foot of snow. Northern Lockport, a little less than that. But right now, the band, there's 78, so that's transit. And then there's the band right there. Just the Millersport is over here. Let me show you the 990. So there's the 990. Then you go Millersport to transit, and that's where the northern edge of the band is. So right now in Lockport, you might have a few flakes in South Lockport, but what you're dealing with is about a foot of snow with winds gusting near 40 miles per hour, blowing that snow around and reducing visibilities. And the band had moved out of NT and Grand Island, but now it is back. And we've been talking a lot from around now through around noontime. It's kind of where the band is going to be before it pushes even further southward. I've been checking the cameras, all morning, and it's fascinating to see it. One moment it'll be fine in a certain spot, but then the next moment you have near whiteout conditions. You're starting to see conditions deteriorate again here in Buffalo. And I'm looking at the 190 at Sheridan, where visibilities are greatly reduced once again.
Aaron, Peter is tweeting me, telling me that the roads on the west side of Buffalo have pretty much been untouched by plows as of 9 a.m. He's saying that there are dangerous conditions out there. So there is a driving ban in place in the city of Buffalo. But Aaron, maybe you can zoom into the city of Buffalo in particular and kind of show us what's fallen there, because a lot of people, frankly, don't have the ability to get out and maybe use public transportation. Public transportation has been suspended by the NFTA. But what can we expect to see in the city of Buffalo?
Sure, and I love this comment from Kelly. Borderline of Kenmore in Buffalo was clear, and now she can't see across the street. So that's really depends on where you are in Buffalo. You're checking out the radar right now, and I was looking at all the NITEC cameras. Visibilities are reduced close to zero in some spots, and others you can see a little bit. That's how it's going to be as we head now through around noontime before the band settles a little bit further southward, where we'll have the waves of the lake effect snow coming in off of Lake Erie, causing your whiteout conditions at times. You catch a little break. You may even see a little sunshine. And then here we go again with another round of snow. I had mentioned about 40 minutes ago that I was watching the band kind of break up a bit, and then I fully expected it to re-energize as the winds become more aligned, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. as this band is going to see of about 1 to 4 inches of snow per hour in the band. In the core of the band, you'll be in that 3 to 4 inch range. I was also looking at the airport, just about every flight canceled or delayed. So this morning, that band is, right, there's the airport right there where that little circle is. That's the Doppler radar at the Buffalo airport. Right where the Doppler is, it looks like it's not snowing, but it is. That's just where the radar beam gets sent out.
Aaron, so you're
But
answering
pretty
2
fascinating to
questions
see.
at once. Number
What's that?
one, Trisha wanted to know about the flights at the airport. She said Delta in particular has not canceled flights. Trisha, I've got the big board at the airport up right now. Every single flight is either canceled or delayed, except for ones that are a lot later tonight. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. It's the same with the arrivals. It's the same with the delays. Almost all delayed or canceled, except for a little bit later. There are a couple flights that they're saying around. Oh, yeah, no, these are all much later. Aaron, do you anticipate we'll see flights coming in and out today at all?
So that's a great question. I was looking at the same thing. The flights after around 3 p.m. are still scheduled. The problem is the flights now that they've been canceled, not just here, but all across the country, they're still trying to catch up with, getting things back in line. But I think the airport around 3 p.m. later today, that band should be just to the south. But then as we get into this evening, that band inches northward. This is a band, it's kind of like you, Ed Dranch. It cannot sit still. It is all over the place. So I'm calling this the Ed Dranch Lake Effect snowstorm, as it is north, south, north, south. Where do we go? Where do we go? And that's what we're going to have today. It's Lake Effect snow on Red Bull. And right now you're seeing some heavy snow to the north of Buffalo, to the south. And this is kind of where the band is going to be throughound lunchtime before it finally starts to push a little bit further southward.
That's typically when I become organized too.
Lake Effect snow on Red Bull.
Right around lunchtime. Hold on, I want to go to Scott's comment here because Aaron, he's asking, could you do a future snowfall total through today and into tomorrow for the Orchard Park area?
Yeah, sure. Let me get that up for you. And
Trisha, while he's getting that up, I do see that flight that you're talking
it's going
about.
downhill again, so that makes sense as we're looking at the radar. So we'll focus here where the band is, and then we'll get to Orchard Park as well. There's the band of snow, like I said, through around noontime, kind of in the same spot. Then we get to early this afternoon, shifting southward into the south towns and parts of the ski country, meandering a little north and south as well. And then as we head toward this evening, the band goes back through the south towns, through the metro area. Tomorrow morning, if you do have to go to work, it's going to be a slow go in the metro area as that band is over Buffalo. Then the band shifts further northward. So on Monday, late in the day, the band is over the north town, so will not be impacting the game. So here we go with snow totals from now through late Sunday. Late today. Another foot or so in Orchard Park as we are going to be seeing that. About 12 to 14 inches of snow. And then after Monday morning, the band is pretty much north of OP. So if you were to see any more, it'd be about another 1 to 4 inches of accumulation. Some areas down the south towns, which will have the highest snow totals, will pick up 1 to 2 feet of snow by the time all is said and done, but very tough to measure. And remember, this storm started late yesterday and continues through early tomorrow.
And Trisha had a comment about a couple of flights.
Yeah, I just wanted to get back to Trisha's comment before we got off of the airport. I'm watching this flight to Detroit at 1:30 as it's still on. And I see it when I take a look at the airport in the big board. It says it's delayed right now. I'm guessing you're talking about this 1:20 flight to Detroit. So I would just be keeping an eye on that. I think that's going to be the story throughout the morning. And I also wanted to say, we get comments on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all coming in. I got a question from Bonnie who said, Katie and Ed, she had a question since we were just talking about Orchard Park about shoveling at the stadium. They wanted people there at noon and 4. It's supposed to get worse. Should people come around 2 or 4 asking for friends who want to be there? Here's the deal right now, Bonnie, that travel ban is still in place. So don't be planning to go and shovel out the stadium yet. This, unfortunately, and I know everybody wants immediate answers, this is kind of a wait and see. They need to assess things and see where they can go and what they can tell people to do.
So the game itself has been postponed until 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. We were just speaking with the Orchard Park police chief just a little while ago, who says for that game, you shouldn't expect to be waiting for hours to get into the stadium. They don't want you on the roads as you would be for a Sunday game, waiting to get into, say, the ECC lot until 9 a.m. And we know that typically clogs up the roads. So they're telling you to dress for the weather tomorrow because we know it's going to be cold. We know it's going to be snowy, and that you should be traveling in a car for something that can handle this kind of weather. In other words, if you don't have four-wheel drive or you got bald tires, you probably should stay off the road. You need to be in a position where you can be self-sufficient. So we should also mention that these driving bans in Erie County are still in effect for every town and city except for Collins, North Collins, Concord, Sardinia, Holland, and Colden. Everywhere else in Erie County still under that travel ban. Now, I also see Wendy's comment wondering about Genesee and Wyoming County and the city of Batavia. Aaron, maybe you can dig into that a little bit.
Okay. Absolutely. What was the question, Edward?
Batavia, Genesee, Wyoming County. Talk about those areas.
Oh, sure. Genesee County still has the winter storm warning in effect until 7 p.m. There's the radar showing, visibility is greatly reduced. Batavia getting some heavy snow right now. Same thing with Attica, Oakfield, Alabama, that area, picking up a fair amount of snowfall along the thruway. Visibility is greatly reduced. Looking at the NITEC cameras, the 190 at Sheridan, and then looking eastward on the 90 as I made it looking at Batavia exit, you can't see a thing. Well, excuse me, I can. I can see one car with his flashers on going very, very slowly. So that area, visibility is near zero. I expect the weather to stay like that in Batavia through around lunchtime. And then the band starts to drift further southward as we get toward early this afternoon, settling in over the South Towns and ski country, and then shifting back toward Batavia later today and into tonight.
Okay, Ash, I see your comment here, and I am questioning the same thing. I'm going through the governor's email as we speak, and I'm trying to find any information about this travel ban being implemented in any other place other than Erie County, and I don't see any information about that. So as of right now, it is just the majority of Erie County that remains under this travel ban. Understandably, there are tens of thousands of people who are going to be flocking to Orchard Park tomorrow, and frankly could have been today if not for the NFL, the state of New York coming together and postponing this game against the Steelers until tomorrow afternoon. You're looking live right now at one of our traffic cameras in the South Towns. This is exit 49 in Depew, and here's why this game needed to be moved, because people would have been heading out right now to tailgate.
Absolutely. Yes.
So it is a complete whiteout. And what you're seeing actually is a break in the law. Mm-hmm. Those tractor trailers that are out there on the thruway should not be
allowed to be there. Absolutely
there is a complete driving ban in all of Erie County and on the thruway, including those tractor trailers.
That's for those, right? There's not a complete driving ban just for that southern part of Erie County, but this area, absolutely. No one should be on the roads, especially those tractor trailers, because we know they're additionally dangerous to be driving in conditions like this.
Well, and Katie, we saw what happened on the roads during the windstorm earlier in the week.
Absolutely.
On Tuesday and Wednesday, we saw that one tractor trailer that jackknifed and then flipped, causing all of those problems and delays. This tractor trailer was splayed out across all lanes.
Close the entire section of the 90.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's what we're trying to avoid here, which is why this driving ban is in place.
Okay, so we are talking about the game being moved, of course, to Monday. And we're saying, yes, had it been this 1 o'clock game today, we would have had people at the stadium tailgating right now. Well, let's take a look at what it looks like right now at the stadium, and we'll better be able to understand why that decision was made to move the game. We have 7 News reporter Adam Campos there right now. He's showing us the conditions. Oh, Hannah Ferreira, too. Adam and Hannah have been traveling together this morning. So, Hannah, tell us what you guys are seeing and how you're feeling.
Good morning, Ed and Katie. Yeah, it is not looking too pretty right now in Orchard Park. Like you said, I think fans will be here right now at 9 a.m. tailgating, getting ready, and it is not looking great. I think the main takeaway for today is
Okay, we're having trouble hearing Hannah. Obviously, the wind is blowing, which creates some sort of problem for the microphone.
Put that into perspective, too. That's right at the stadium. So not only will we have seen those conditions, during the game, look at this. Potential of people tailgating in this, it's not only dangerous to get there, it's dangerous to be out in it.
But look at the reality of the situation here.
Yeah.
On one hand, you see dark, ominous, wind-whipped snow. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, you're seeing those beautiful blue skies.
Yeah.
And so this is the story of this kind of a snowstorm. That band is just oscillating back and forth from north to south,
Right.
but it's the winds that create this kind of a problem.
Mhm.
It causes those whiteouts. It causes hazardous conditions on the roads, not only for the people who would have been coming to Orchard Park this morning, this afternoon, but for the crews who are trying to clear the roads as well.
And Will, I want to address your comment here. How did she get to the stadium while there's a driving ban? Essential employees can be out right now. The News, of course, considered essential employees. So that's why Hannah and Adam they're doing everything they can to keep you safe. And he also mentioned it's not dangerous to be outside, dress appropriately. Everyone that we've spoken to this morning has strongly disagreed with that. It is dangerous to be outside right now. So you're going to want to just take care. Let's not encourage anybody to be outside right now. The conditions, the wind, it's dangerous to be out there. Again, here you see another essential employee, a plow driver out there clearing the snow. So you will see people out on the roads, but the majority of them will and should be those essential workers.
So we know who those essential workers are, those people who are working to save lives, the police officers, the fighters, the snowplow workers. Did I just say fighters?
No, I think, well,
I
you know
think I'm
what?
just
Whatever
kinda
you
losing my
said,
mind here.
David's cracking me up. He said he thinks he had a little too much coffee this
Yeah,
morning.
exactly.
Happens.
Okay, so here's the reality. Tomorrow, this area is going to be full of people at 4:30 for this major wild card game. Steelers Nation coming to Buffalo. We're going to have an easy time with the Steelers tomorrow because this is the weather that we are familiar with. That said, it wasn't going to be safe for all of those people to come today.
Absolutely not.
So the NFL,
Right.
the state of New York, working together to make sure that we were able to postpone this game until tomorrow.
And you know what? They made that decision yesterday, right around 11 o'clock noon. So it was made early enough that everybody could change plans. Potentially people who were going to drive into Buffalo were able to not do that. So I think that we know that was a good decision right now. I mean, look at this. Look at these conditions. You do not want people out there tailgating. We know what happens while you're tailgating. So you just want to take care in conditions like this.
Let's go back to the traffic cameras here because I want to show you also what it looks like in other places. This is, again, exit 49 in Depew. So you're seeing on the bottom left-hand side of your screen what it looks like in Orchard Park. And again, you can kind of see that wall of snow just blowing through. Here in Depew, it's hard to see anything as that snow continues to blow, which is why we continue to say that there is a travel ban in effect.
Patty had a question with the driving ban. How can any flights go out? So Patty, I've been keeping an eye on the big board at the airport. Right now, no flights are going out, scheduled or have been delayed. I would kind of wait to see what happens there. Now, Aaron mentioned maybe as the afternoon goes along, should that ban shift south and the winds die down, chances are they may be able to get some flights out. But in the next few hours, anything that is scheduled to come out of the airport is delayed or canceled.
Okay, so Jeremy says, be safe to all the tow drivers. I am one of them. Jeremy, good morning to you. I'm glad you're with us. Tell us exactly where you are. Are you working right now? We certainly want you to be safe. But what are you seeing as you're out and about plowing through those communities? A lot of people are out right now working to clear those streets, including our DPW crews. We heard from Nate Martin, who is the commissioner of the Department of Public Works here in the city of Buffalo, that 200 additional pieces of equipment have been brought into the city of Buffalo to help clear those streets. And
So
a
we're
lot of those are
talking
private.
contractors. Yeah, they're coming in, they're helping. And that's a lot of the time what cities and municipalities will do when they have these big storms. They're able to contract with these private plow truck drivers.
I hear ya.
And they will be, as the DPW commissioner told us, kind of clearing those side streets.
Mhm.
The ones that, they'll keep the big city plows on those main streets. And then some of the side streets will be hit by these private guys.
Lori, love your comment. Shout out to whoever plowed in Lockport. Great job. Thank you. And then Jeremy says he's in Lockport. We know for a fact that Lockport has seen about a foot of snow and that conditions there have been deteriorating all morning long. And then somebody else wondering about the Thruway. Is the Thruway closed? Yes, in fact, the Thruway is closed. It's part of that travel ban from the Pennsylvania state line all the way through. So there should be no cars out on the Thruway, no tractor trailers. That ban has also been in place. And then Jeremy says, whiteouts, roads not plowed. He says they're slick. And Brian, again, just answering your question, the thruway is closed.
Amy was wondering about Clarence. Now, Amy, it's been a couple hours since I checked in with the DPW commissioner in Clarence, but I did talk to him earlier this morning. Jamie Dussing told me that they were seeing whiteout conditions at the time, and this was around 7 o'clock. He said they had 12 trucks out on 12 routes since 3, so they were working that overnight, and then said by 7, any progress they had made had been wiped out by that current band of snow. He said expecting it to move this afternoon, then we're going to clean things up again, and said that they are well prepared for this event.
CT saying, how are people supposed to get to the stadium to shovel? The answer is you're not.
Yeah, not right now.
There is still a driving ban in Orchard Park until further notice. And we heard from the chief of police moments ago that they're asking you just to stay off the road so that they can work. Our Adam Campos back in Orchard Park for us this morning. Adam, good morning to you. Tell us about the conditions there at Highmark Stadium, where we know 80,000 people will be watching the game tomorrow to see the Bills beat the Steelers.
Hey, and hopefully they do. We would love to see it, but we'd like to see it in some safer conditions. We were just up earlier when Hannah was trying to go on. You could see Highmark, but now Highmark is starting to dim out. That's just, again, how quickly this all can change. And right now, this would not be the best idea whatsoever to have 70,000 people try to come in. Because also, too, as we've been driving all day, the strongest winds that we have felt so far have been right here at Highmark Stadium. If we turn over and we look at the pit, where the new stadium is being built, you can't even see out in the distance. You see the fence and you see a few of the trucks, but that's about it. So right now, with the combination of how strong the wind is down here in Highmark, the road conditions aren't good at all, because we even slid, when we tried to make a U-turn right here at the park, we slid around. There, I just don't see how we would have been able to get 70,000 people here. But you see the plows have been working all throughout the area to try to get it. A plow just came through right here on the road right here, and it's back covered with snow. So again, it's just showing how quickly these conditions can change.
Well, and so Adam, that's where the new stadium is, by the way,
Yes.
right across the street. Beyond that are the lots that people would go to tailgate. And this is prime time for tailgating. ECC would have been open right now. All those private lots would have been open. Explain the conditions. I mean, you could not be there and be safe at the same time.
I can't even tell where they have this lot right here. It's covered with snow. The wind is howling in. And then as soon as you look down the road this way, when we actually come down, like I said, I can see gate 4, but past gate 4 where we're at right now, you can't see anything past that. And even then, the wind is getting stronger as I'm speaking right now, and the wind's just blowing into Highmark. I mean, again, tailgating would have been nearly impossible. I mean, some people, I know they would have tried it, but it is best that we did not have people try to come out here for this game, because it just wouldn't have been fun for anybody in any situation to try to get out here. I know we want to cheer on the Bills, we want to see them win, but we got to make sure we're safe. And right now, these are not safe conditions to be able to do it. That's why we wanted to come here, because this is all the attention is centered here in Highmark. And we're showing you right now, there's a reason that nobody is here.
So Joyce saying that Lovejoy got whooped. We need some plows, please. Yeah, we heard from the Commissioner of Public Works in the city of Buffalo. They are working. They are trying to get that plow at least down every single street within 24 hours, at least once. Mm-hmm. So you just got to be patient. And that travel ban is still in place. So realistically, you don't need to be going anywhere just yet.
CT wondering, is it not the snow that's causing the problem? Is it the wind that's causing these issues? Truthfully, it's the combination of both of them, because you've got lake effect snow in that band, and then after it falls, you've got the wind whipping it around and causing whiteouts. So it's a combination of both of those two things that makes this extremely dangerous, and you don't want to be out in it if you are not an essential worker who needs to get somewhere. Yes, Adam?
Am I on right now? It's starting to turn into whiteout here. Let's go back this way. You can't even... I'm getting pelted with wind right now. And this is the strongest wind, like I said, we have felt so far. Highmark, you can kind of see it, but just right now, this is exactly what we're talking about. In a matter of seconds, that this can change. Let's turn this way right now. You probably can barely even see the fence line. If we turn,
right.
So yeah, again, this just shows how quickly it can change. These are the strongest ones we have felt today.
Everything can change in a second. Adam Campos live for us in Orchard Park. Adam, thank you. If you're watching on Channel 7, we're going to take a quick break. If you're watching on Facebook Live, we invite you to continue being part of the conversation. Join us on our Facebook Live. Search for WKBW TV. We'll be right back.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm trying to find information about the tier 1 because I know somebody was asking that question.
About which essential employees
Yeah,
can come in.
I know that Erie County has something, but I'm just trying to figure out who a tier 1 employee would be. Okay, so this is the tier 1. I have the information here. Police, fire, EMS, public works, utility crews, healthcare workers and those required for healthcare facility operations, aviation, those responding to life safety needs. So I think that there's a little bit of ambiguity there in that last comment. For that person who was asking that question.
And they mentioned they were a healthcare worker. Healthcare
Right.
workers are listed here under that
Mike.
tier 1 essential workers.
And we'll talk about this on TV too, as we merge back in. Stand by. Okay, welcome back. It's 9:30 on the start of your Sunday morning. Welcome to a special edition of Second Cup. We're glad you're with us. We do this every single morning at 8 o'clock on Facebook Live and our WKBW app, and we invite you to be part of the conversation.
Grab a cup of coffee, go to our WKBW Facebook page. You can check us out on Instagram. You can check us out on Twitter as well. We're able to answer some of your questions here and also get some comments from you. Thank you to everyone who's been telling us what it's like outside of their windows. Travel ban still in effect for the majority of Erie County. Only a slight portion of the southern area of Erie County is out of that travel ban right now. So if you're waking up pretty much anywhere in Erie County, you're not to go anywhere unless you're an essential worker. And we just had a comment about that. And a question, really. Somebody wondering who counts as an essential worker, wondering if they could go to work.
So Mike was wondering, can you guys clarify who are considered essential employees? I work in healthcare and have been told by my management that we can still get tickets if caught driving in a driving ban, even though we are considered essential. So I went digging to try and get that information for you, Mike, and I wanted to make sure that we answered your question. According to Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz, the people who are tier 1 essential workers are police, fire, EMS, public works crews, utility crews, healthcare workers and those required for healthcare facility operations, aviation, and those responding to life safety needs. So if you fit into one of those categories, and of course, the people at the very bottom of that list, those responding to life safety needs, kind of ambiguous. So if you fall into one of those categories, you are certainly considered essential.
Okay, so we know that the Bills game obviously has been moved until tomorrow afternoon, and we want to show you why this morning. We have crews at Highmark Stadium. This is the tailgate time. If we've got a 1 o'clock game, we know there would be thousands of people at the stadium right now. Well, we're seeing complete whiteouts in Orchard Park right now. Our crews there say, you know, when they were driving down, they were a little bit out of the band, and then all of a sudden that band came right through. So we just want to let you know, now you're looking at the radar right now in Orchard Park, and you can see exactly how that band is bopping up and down, and it's causing those whiteout conditions. There's the stadium.
Okay, so Peter Jackson wondering, how does the travel ban affect the thruway? The thruway is closed from the Pennsylvania state line all the way through central New York. So essentially, there should be no travel on the thruway. Tractor trailers are banned from the Pennsylvania state line all the way through central New York. So we've got to make sure that we're staying off the road so these crews can work. And here's the reason why. The conditions deteriorate so fast. There are whiteout conditions from 1 second to another. It could be clear and go to a complete whiteout. And this is exactly what we're seeing in Orchard Park right now. Healthcare worker here trying to get from Hamburg to Lancaster is what Jamie says. Jamie, you would be considered essential under that government tier 1 restriction. So make sure that you're checking in with your employer, I would say, and make sure that they're okay with you coming in as well.
Safety first, absolutely. I want to just let you know something that the town of Amherst just passed along to us. This is from Amherst Police. Town of Amherst facilities are staying closed today throughout the day. All town buildings, all town facilities staying closed. We know that's where Aaron Mankowski was. And you probably noticed, if you've been joining us this morning, he's been working from home. Well, that's because it wasn't possible to get into the station this morning.
So let's bring in our chief meteorologist, Aaron Mankowski. He's tracking that 7 weather forecast for us. Aaron, good morning to you. Tell us what we need to know about snowfall, where that band is this morning, and what we can expect as we go throughout the day.
All right, good morning, everyone. Yeah, what lake effect snow band we've been watching as it moved north of Buffalo overnight, came back through the city, then it's impacting the south towns as well. Did break up just a bit, and now notice the band is starting to re-energize as it comes in off of Lake Erie. We have that band of snow that's coming across the lake and impacting areas to the northeast of the lake right now. Places like Buffalo picking up some snow. The southern part of Grand Island dealing with snow back toward NT. NT picking up about a foot of snow. Same thing with Lockport. Batavia, the snow is weakened a bit, but with the strong winds, visibilities are greatly reduced. Closer look showing along the 990. It's going to be near whiteout conditions right there. Clarence over toward Pembroke. Cheektowaga, getting reports sometimes in Cheektowaga. It's fine. Other times you can hardly see a thing. Then we head further south. Hamburg over toward Eden and Boston, just north of Holland, we held the snow. And we just saw Orchard Park with near whiteout conditions. And that's why, because there's that band of heavy snow moving through OP right now. And you can hardly see a thing there. We zoom back out and there's that band, which will be with us today through tonight and tomorrow before it finally starts to wind down late on Monday. Hour by hour forecast for you. There's the band kind of hanging out where it's going to stay where it is right now through around lunchtime. Then it starts to push further to the south and hang out in the south towns and into ski country through around dinner time. Notice later tonight, the band starts to push back northward. Then that band by tomorrow morning over Buffalo. So if you do have to go to work on Monday, it's going to be a slow go in the metro area. Late on Monday, there's that band as it moves well north of Buffalo. It starts to really impact parts of Niagara and Orleans counties. That's late on Monday. It will not be near the stadium later tomorrow. However, Orchard Park already picked up a foot of snow with another 12 inches of snow expected by 11 p.m. today. The highest snow totals, I should say, will be south of Buffalo. Lancaster, you already picked up 8 inches, expect another 6. Buffalo, another 5 inches or so. Batavia, another 8. And then places like Boston and Colden, you'll see about 6 to 8 inches of snow on top of what you already have. Now, winds are gusting around 35 to 40 miles per hour right now. That's where they're going to stay. So we've had the strongest winds already. Winds will be in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range later this afternoon. 19 in Buffalo, 20 in Niagara Falls, 19 in Akron, 17 in Orchard Park. Whoa, look at that wind gust in Buffalo at the airport. Just hit 64 miles per hour. Again, the strongest winds will be this morning. We're seeing them right now, a wind gust of 60 in Dunkirk. When you have a wind gust of 64 miles per hour, combine that with the snow, visibilities obviously will be greatly reduced. So, near Cheektowaga, you're not going to see much right now. And that's why just about every flight has been canceled or delayed at the airport, at least through this morning. It feels like it's 0 in Buffalo. It feels like it's 12 below in Jamestown. Here's your feels like forecast. And notice wind chills staying below 0 south of Buffalo today. Tomorrow morning, wind chills for all of us will be below 0. And then tomorrow, late afternoon into the evening, wind chills close to 0, which of course leads us to the updated Bills Steelers forecast. Temperatures in the teens. Breezy and cold, a few flakes for your tailgate, and then wind chills in the single digits under mostly cloudy skies during the game. So the weather will impact the game a bit, but nothing like it would have if that game were to occur today.
So, Aaron, you are our chief meteorologist. You are the person who we count on for expert opinion and advice when it comes to the weather. I know a lot of schools consult you on a daily basis to see if they should stay open or if they should close. Now, I want to address David's comment here. Aaron, in your expert opinion, with the way the forecast is right now, is the game going to be a go tomorrow?
Oh, I would think so. Yes. We'll have the heaviest snows today. Our DPW will do a great job as soon as the snow moves out. A lot of times we have the plows come by and then the band comes back in and brings us another round of snow. That's a look at Highmark Stadium. Okay, which you can't see it.
Right.
By the time we get toward later today and tonight, they'll be able to move a lot of the snow, and I'm sure everyone's going to be working overtime to clear out lots and make sure that people can park and make their way to Orchard Park tomorrow. So I would be surprised. Anyone who asked me yesterday, off the record, I said I think that the game will be moved to Monday because of the weather today, and that's what happened. So my next estimation would be the game will be on tomorrow, but as that band exits the Orchard Park area tonight, they'll really be able to clear out the roads. And tomorrow, there will not be as much of an issue on in OP, as the bulk of the snow will be north of the stadium, and maybe just a couple of inches early in the day in Orchard Park tomorrow.
Very good. Well, we had the Orchard Park chief of police on a little while ago, and he told us, listen, wait for a little bit later today. They're going to be assessing things. So people had been asking, they wanted at some point people to come shovel out the stadium. No, you are not going right now to do that. That travel ban is still in effect. Expect to hear from police, or hear in some capacity, might come from the state at some point later today, about what the plan is for the game, because they may ask for people not to come to the game until a little bit later, because they were mentioning first, they've got to clear out those streets for everybody. They've also got to clear out the parking lot. So just keep that in mind. That's something we need to consider as we have that game. A couple of questions coming in here. Melissa, is our flight to Australia still scheduled? Can we drive in the driving ban to get to the airport?
Are you getting to Australia from Buffalo?
I think that
No, the answer
I
is no.
believe she's got a connection.
Where are you trying to go to get your connection,
Yeah,
Melissa?
no, you cannot drive in the driving ban right now, even if your flight is still scheduled, which many of them are either canceled or delayed right now. Keep an eye on that. I would expect, Aaron mentioned a little bit later in the afternoon, things might be changing, but if you look at the big board right now, most flights canceled or delayed.
Jay, also wondering, when is the travel ban going to be lifted? Already this morning, the travel ban has been lifted for places in extreme southern Erie County. We're talking the town of Holland, Concord, Collins, North Collins, Sardinia. For everyone else, though, that travel ban is still in effect in Erie County. And we know that there's a travel advisory elsewhere, but for Erie County, there is to be no driving anywhere outside of, where you are in Erie County, there's a travel ban, period. What I wanted to say also is that we just found out that the city of Buffalo is going to be holding an update this afternoon at 2 o'clock, though we did hear from Nate Martin, who is the commissioner of the Department of Public Works, a little while ago. And we know that there are hundreds of pieces of equipment out and about right now clearing those residential streets. This is Delaware Avenue in Buffalo, one of those places that, as you can see, is involved in those whiteout conditions. And our 7 News senior reporter, Michael Wooten, is actually joining us live to show us those conditions. Michael, good morning to you. Describe what you're seeing out there on Delaware Avenue.
Hey, good morning, guys. You can see my shot, right? It's very different. What you're showing a moment ago was actually video from maybe 20, 30 minutes ago. Now, as you look out live, we just saw a car go there. You can actually see in front of you. Earlier, I'm on the 9th floor. I couldn't see the road. That's how bad visibility was. It's obviously improved dramatically. You can see out there, you can see the road now, which is a dramatic improvement. But still, I mean, as I've been looking out here, I've seen maybe a dozen cars over the last half hour. Just no one is out, which is good news. But as you know, and you've seen all morning, I mean, conditions change so quickly. It goes from complete whiteout to a moment later, much, much better. So, yeah, crazy wind out there. I went down actually outside earlier. You can only stay out there for a second or two, and man, you want to get back inside.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Michael Wooten live for us. Michael, thank you. We appreciate you. So here is Ken Moore, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I believe our Eileen Buckley has been sending us video as well. You can see here the snowfall continues. Those streets looked like they were plowed in some cases, unplowed in others. Though, as you can imagine, these crews are working hard. They are out and about working to make sure that they've had at least one pass in the city of Buffalo 24 hours after the snow stops falling. And this is what it looks like in Kenmore. So it's probably the same thing no matter where you are. Snowing 1 minute, clear the next.
So I just want to bring Aaron in one more time, because Aaron, a couple of people, I got a private message from Hannah who was asking, hey, can you talk about Depew? She really wanted to know what Depew was going to look like. And then Aaron actually just texted Ed and I as well and said, hey, Michael Wooten, you got more snow on the way in Buffalo coming soon. So if we could bring Aaron Mankowski back in for 1 second so he can address what's happening in Depew. And I also saw someone asking about Tonawanda. Could you hit those 2 areas for us quickly?
Okay, so we're looking at Depew and Tonawanda. Absolutely, you will have more snow. Tonawanda's picked up several inches of snow. So has Depew. We'll go up toward Tonawanda right now, and notice you're kind of on the northern edge of the band, and it's starting to drift further southward. So that's an encouraging sign for the cleanup crews there in Tonawanda. But several inches there. Combine that with the winds, which just gusted over 60 miles per hour at the airport. So visibilities are greatly reduced. Depew, here comes another round of snow for you folks, especially near the airport where winds have gusted over 60 miles per hour. So you'll have this, and this scenario is going to stay the same through around lunchtime. And then the band will start to shift further south. But right now we have Amherst, Clarence over toward Oakfield, Alabama, Albion still getting the snowfall. And then in Buffalo, we just were talking to Michael Wooten. You could see it was kind of clear for the moment. That is going to change. There's another band of heavy snow just about to move back to where you saw him with that interview. And then Alden, Elma getting some heavier snows. The southern edge of the band from Evans to Eden over toward East Aurora. This is where the band is going to be for the next few hours before it starts to shift further southward. Conditions in Orchard Park are changing rather rapidly. Now we're catching a little break in the snow. However, about 5 minutes ago, you had near whiteout conditions. We zoom back out. There's that band of snow, and I want to get a little closer. This is some heavier snow right here. The northern edge of the band, right as it comes back on shore in the next hour, is going to be another round of snow rates, about 2 to 3 inches per hour, and that is heading back toward Buffalo. Then after this passes through in the next hour or so, then you'll start to see more of the bullseye across southern Erie County in this Wales, Hamburg, Boston area. But right now, the band is pretty much going to stay where it is for the next through around lunchtime and then drift southward. So Tonawanda, you're on that northern edge of the band where you're getting some heavy snow. Depew, you're about to get some heavier snows as well.
Aaron, I just want to go to a tweet that was just put out by Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz. He says, for those of you who are wondering why there's a driving and travel ban across most of Erie County, check out the video that he just shot in the town of Cheektowaga off of Walden Avenue. This is right by their emergency operations center. He says it is really bad, and he puts really in all caps. This is why we do not want thousands of vehicles trying to get to a football game. So I'm going to share my screen here so that you can actually see that tweet here. Oh, here it is. Okay, let's play it. You might just have to click the volume control here for the people in the back.
Ban for most of Erie County. Stay safe, stay inside. Take care, everyone. For those of you who are wondering why there may be a driving ban, I'm in the town of Cheektowaga. It's rough. Hang on. It's pretty bad out here. You can't really see more than in front of the hood of your car. I'm heading to the operations center. This is why there's a driving ban for most of Erie County. Stay safe, stay inside. Take care, everyone.
Okay, so for those of you who are just waking up this morning, we know that a little while ago, the driving ban in Erie County was rescinded for a couple of different spots in southern Erie County, though in other parts, the majority of Erie County, that driving ban remains in place. And that's also true for the 90, the Thruway. All of those places should not have any tractor trailers, any drivers, period, out on the road.
Yeah, so important to consider that and stay home because that travel ban is in effect for the majority of Erie County. When you just saw that video that the county executive tweeted, you can see exactly why. We also, again, know that we're going to get an update from the city of Buffalo around 2 o'clock. We were told by their DPW commissioner they've got more than 200 pieces of additional equipment coming into the city to be able to help them clear side streets. They've got private contractors they're working with who are going to specifically be working on those side streets and trying to clear the residential areas. They also mentioned those lots that they made available for people to park in so they could get their cars off the street. People were taking advantage of them. They said they didn't have too many cars that they had to tow. We know that that often happens in a storm.
The Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Response here in New York says travel in impacted areas will be impossible and dangerous at times throughout the weekend due to life-threatening blizzard-like conditions. Western New Yorkers being urged to stay home throughout the duration of this storm. Now, that said, if you do lose power or if you are unable to turn your heat on, something happens and you need a place to go that's safe, there are so many places that are open and available for you throughout the area, including some of the South towns that are run by the state, no less. Erie County Community College on the South Campus, Southwestern Boulevard, that's open for you. Wyndham Elementary School on Sheldon Road in Orchard Park, that's also available. Orchard Park Middle School on South Lincoln Avenue, that's open and available. There are also 9 warming shelters set up throughout the city, in one in each district, each council district. So if you are without power or heat, you can use one of those places. They're going to be open until further notice.
And you know, at last storm, that windstorm that we had, we saw so many people lose power, right? And National Grid and NYSEG crews are working to try to restore it. The good news so far with this storm is that we've seen very few power outages. NYSEG in Western New York is reporting only about 32 customers who are without power.
Ooh.
And National Grid just has a handful of customers. There's about 25 people in Kenmore who don't have power right now. And then if we move down to Buffalo, they've got like fewer than 5. Blaisdell's got a couple people, 18 customers without power. So we're seeing really reduced power outages this time around, which is good news.
Doesn't really seem like power has become that big of a deal, which is good, as you mentioned. But
good to have those warming shelters just in
Absolutely.
case, but also good to know that probably a lot of people aren't going to need
So when you consider the alternative, right? The alternative was what happened during the December blizzard. The December blizzard was deadly. Almost 50 people died in that storm. This is nothing like that. But these state organizations, county and city organizations and agencies have mobilized to the extent that they are pulling out all the punches here. They faced a lot of criticism, not only from the community, but also from outside agencies that evaluated their response to this storm. So as a result, they've instituted these travel bans. And a lot of people are wondering who can go to work, who is allowed to be on the road this morning. It's these tier 1 essential workers. That is something that's been set up by the county. Here are the categories: police, fire, and EMS, public works crews, utility crews, healthcare workers, and those required for healthcare facility operations. So if you work in a hospital and say you do food service, you're one of those people. Aviation, and those responding to life safety needs. And it's that last category that's kind of ambiguous. So if you fall into this category of, say, life safety needs, who could that be?
Well, so
the media, potentially, responding to this storm.
And I want to bring up Kevin's comment quickly, because he was saying, if this driving ban continues into tomorrow morning, how do I go for my dialysis treatment? Kevin, those responding to life safety needs. So that might be a condition where you would want to call the office, the healthcare office, obviously make sure they're open, and ask them at that point.
Well, and to that point, if you need help, there's a number open and available for you. It's 858-SNOW, 858-SNOW. That is Erie County's snow hotline. Now, that is not for emergencies. If you have an emergency, call 911.
Yes.
But if you have a question like that about your dialysis treatment, or perhaps you need help getting to that dialysis treatment, that is your best option. Call 858-SNOW. That said, there are ways to transport people back and forth. We've got those tracked vehicles that we saw from the city of Buffalo. They were wheeled out and put on display about a month or so ago. And those are the vehicles that they can help get you to and from wherever you need to be.
Okay, so Aaron was mentioning that snow ban was going to shift toward Buffalo again. Remember, we just talked to Michael Wooten not even 10 minutes ago, right? And it was clear on Delaware Avenue, which is about a 15-minute drive from where you're looking at right now. This shows you exactly what these snow bans are like. It's shifting back up north. This is exit 3 on the 190, Seneca Street, total whiteout here. This is why that travel ban is in place. And again, not that long ago, Ed, it was relatively clear outside in the city of Buffalo.
Luann, good morning to you. Glad you're with us as well. She says we got about 5 inches so far, but more is coming with blustery conditions in the Kenmore, Town of Tonawanda area. She's asking everyone just to stay home and stay safe. Ryan, what customers are calling their private plow people to clean driveways in OP? Are they allowed to clear driveways or no? That's a great question. And I don't have the answer to it, unfortunately.
You know, I got to tell you, just thinking about it, you might not want to be clearing the driveways right now. Because yes, we know there's this travel ban. Okay, potentially could they be considered? Maybe they could. But why would you want to clear it right now, knowing that it might just come back? Maybe you could wait until you know it will be stopping, and then you'd be able to get out.
Okay, this is breaking right now. A special weather statement has just come out. I want to go to our 7 chief meteorologist, Aaron Minkowski, who's tracking that weather statement. Aaron, what are you learning so far?
Yeah, well, the Weather Service, they'll issue special weather statements, when the weather warrants, like right now. And they just reiterated kind of what we've been talking about all morning. We have the multiple bands of the moderate to heavy snow over central and northern parts of Erie County. They're going to become one very strong, heavy snow band. It's going to get itself better organized, and then it's going to shift further southward late this morning through this afternoon. The quickly accumulating snow with the winds gusting 45 miles per hour or even higher will reduce visibilities to 0. You'll have snowfall rates about 2 inches per hour. in that band, you will find travel with the travel ban, though of course you're not going to be traveling. But if you do venture out, travel will be extremely difficult, if not impossible. So the very poor conditions in the immediate Buffalo area will be improving as we get toward lunchtime into early afternoon, as the center of that band will be south of Buffalo. So the metro area, you got another hour or so, and then that band, like we talked about this morning, it did break up. We expected it to strengthen again. That's exactly what's happening. And now it's going to shift southward. I was looking at the NITEC camera at the 190 in downtown Buffalo between Elm and Church. Can't see a thing. The one at Niagara Street, visibility is greatly reduced, and over toward the 198 as well. But travel, you guys, when you guys look out the window there at the studio, you probably can't see much as that snow band is getting itself better organized and strengthening, and it's over downtown Buffalo right now.
You know, it's so interesting, Aaron. We got a viewer picture in from Lewiston, and the sun is shining. It's beautiful. They've got clear skies and grass is showing. And then you go to Lockport. They've got about 15 inches of snow. Gareth just sent us a picture as well with his ruler in the snow. It looks like north of Erie County, Amherst, even into southern Niagara County, they've seen the brunt of this snow.
Yes, yeah. And that was expected, that the band would be in the north towns overnight, and then this morning it would move back south. So that's what we're seeing at the moment. I know Lockport picked up about a foot of snow, Middleport 17 inches, but places like Lewiston, nothing. Newfane, less than a half inch. So that's the lake effect snow band. We talked about it. We'd probably mostly stay south of Route 104 up in the north towns, and that's what's happened. I see that Gail says there's Sloan's a total whiteout. And parts of Buffalo dealing with near whiteout conditions as well. Lovejoy, total whiteout. So this band is making its way back through Buffalo. It's going to be there where you're not going to really see a thing in the Metro Buffalo for the next 30 to 45 minutes, and then it starts to shift further southward, and the south towns will feel the brunt of this band late this morning through this afternoon before it shifts back northward.
All right, Aaron, thank you. I want to let everyone who's joining us right now know that we are going to stay on air and streaming for you through 11 o'clock now. We're going to stay for another hour because we really got to keep an eye on this and make sure that everybody stays safe. We also have a guest who's joining us right now. We have Jackie Bray, who's joining us from the Department of Homeland Security. We want to bring her in to be part of this conversation. Hi, Jackie. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Let's talk about the information you passed along to people right now.
Yeah, well, first of all, let me just say that was a great forecast and totally spot on. We are in the middle of a major lake effect event with blizzard-like conditions. As the forecast said, this band is oscillating across Erie County, and we do expect it to be over the city of Buffalo and the south towns all afternoon. So folks have been doing a great job staying off the roads. Our big message is stay home, stay off the roads. Let our emergency crews, our emergency personnel, our first responders do their jobs and keep you safe.
Now, Jackie, I'm just seeing some information coming in about a major accident on the 90 westbound in the Leroy area, about a tractor trailer that might have flipped over. What are you seeing about that?
Yeah, so we generally saw really clear roads. The trucks were obeying our commercial travel ban. We had a handful of semis disobey that ban in the sort of 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. hour, and we are dealing at this point with the fallout from that. But our crews will be out doing everything we can to clear that tractor trailer. Obviously, that section of roadway is closed. No one should be on it unless you're an emergency vehicle or a first responder. I will say that the state police issued 109 violations overnight with significant fines attached to each one of those, about 65 for passenger vehicles, about 44 for commercial vehicles. They are still out in force enforcing this. So if you shouldn't be on those roads, you should expect to be ticketed. We're doing that today. We're going to keep doing that.
Jackie, we have to take a quick break. We want you to stay with us as we move into our next hour. It's really important to hear from you this morning, so if you wouldn't mind just standing by for us. If you're watching on TV, we're going to take that quick break, and continue the conversation on the other side of this break. If you're watching on Facebook Live, you can continue with your comments, keep them streaming in. We invite you to be part of the conversation. It's just before 10 o'clock on a Sunday. We'll be right back. Jackie, just hang out for us. We want you to stay with us so that we can go into our next break with you.
Thumbs up.
Okay.
Sorry,
Thanks, Jackie.
Time. My pleasure.
Aaron, how long is this break?
Okay. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. We're going to merge in our TV viewers. Stand by for us.
Hi there. Good morning, everybody. Here we are just before 10 o'clock on the start of your Sunday morning. We're glad to have you with us. If you're watching on air, we also want you to do a dual screen experience. Grab your phone, go to our WKBW Facebook page, because there you can be part of the conversation. You can ask us questions. We're bringing in a couple of guests too. We want to talk about the storm that's hitting Western New York right now, the response that we've seen, and what we need to know as we move into the rest of today.
Okay, let's face it. It's Sunday. We don't want to do one of these stuffy newscasts with a suit and tie. We're hanging out with you, and we invite you to be part of the conversation. So most of Erie County is still under a travel ban this morning, except for the town of Holland, Sardinia, Concord, North Collins, and the town of Collins. We also know that there are many driving bans on the thruway as a result of this whiteout condition that continues through Western New York. Overnight, we're learning 109 violations have been given out to people who violated those travel bans, and those carry with them significant fines. Our 7 Weather Chief Meteorologist Aaron Minkowski is with us this morning. He is tracking exactly what we need to know when it comes to the timing of this lake effect ban that persists through Western New York. Aaron, good morning to you. Walk us through what we need to know.
All right, good morning, guys. We've had the strong winds, and now we have this lake effect snow band that's over Buffalo. I was looking at the NITEC cameras. That band stretches from Buffalo to Batavia, where visibilities are close to zero. Up in the north towns, you picked up a lot of snowfall as well. And there's a view of the 190 at Seneca Street. Again, as that band has made its way back into Buffalo. So Buffalo, like I said, to Batavia, Akron, you're in the heart of that band where that snow is coming down at a very good clip. Now, the good news for Buffalo, you're on the northern edge of the band. It's going to continue to push southward, and as it moves southward, it'll start to settle into the south towns late this morning through this afternoon. So you're kind of on the end of the band from Buffalo up toward Cheektowaga, Clarence, over toward Batavia. The band will start to shift south of you. So there's the northern edge of that band right now, just moving out of NT and Pendleton, areas that picked up about 8 to 12 inches of snow. Now the band over Buffalo, Lackawanna, visibility there will be close to zero. And notice there are some breaks in the band, but now those breaks are starting to fill in. We were talking about it this morning that the band would re-energize and re-strengthen, and that's what's happening right now. Hamburg over toward Blaisdell, Elma, stretching toward Alden. Visibility is greatly reduced. And here we go in Orchard Park, right near the stadium right there. The snow is coming down, and that's pretty much where the band is going to be late this morning through early this afternoon, with winds gusting 45 to 50 miles per hour. Visibilities will obviously be close to zero. You see the band just to the west there of Buffalo. So getting into the eastern end of Lake Erie, that band has shifted southward. So that's where our focus will be later on this morning. Again, here's the hour-by-hour forecast showing by lunchtime the band's south of Buffalo, hanging out across the south towns this afternoon, then pushing back northward tonight, and then tomorrow morning over Buffalo, and then late on Monday over the north towns, with just a couple more inches of snow up in places like Lockport as we get into Monday. As far as the rest of the day is concerned, places like Orchard Park, Blaisdell, Hamburg, you folks on top of what you already have could see another 6 to almost 14 inches of accumulation. Winds very strong this morning, gusting close to 50 miles per hour right now. Winds though gusting around 30 to 40 miles per hour later this afternoon. So the strongest winds will be this morning. Currently, it's cold outside, 19 in Buffalo, 19 in Niagara Falls. At the airport, the wind gusting 48 miles per hour, 48 in Niagara Falls, 40 in Dunkirk. It feels like it's 3 in Buffalo. You have a feels like temperature of 10 below in Jamestown. Wind chills will stay close to 0 in Buffalo, below 0 south of Buffalo today. Tomorrow morning, wind chills well below 0 across the area. And then later on Monday, wind chills in the single digits. So the updated Buffalo Bills Steelers forecast, much better on Monday than what we would have had if we were to play today. Temperatures will be in the teens, maybe a little sunshine and a few flakes for your tailgate, mostly cloudy, winds around 10 to 20 miles per hour during the game. So yeah, cold, but not dangerously. Now we're not talking about dangerous weather like we're seeing right now, where visibilities are close to 0 by the stadium at the moment.
All right, Aaron Minkowski for us. Thank you very much, Aaron. We appreciate you. I want to bring back in Jackie Bray from the Homeland Security for New York State. Jackie, I apologize. I'm butchering your title here. I know that you're really important.
Jackie, we appreciate you rolling with it.
Thank you very much.
It's been a busy morning, and I'm sure it's been a busy morning for you too. You already mentioned to us there were 109 violations overnight from people who were violating the travel ban. So we travel ban still in effect for the majority of Erie County. What do people know if they're just tuning in right now?
Yeah, so here's what you need to know. This event is not over. It's not close to over. Folks have done a really good job, I will say, staying off the roads in Erie County. I want to thank Western New Yorkers. You are doing your part. We need you to be patient and keep doing your part. There was a great forecast just a minute ago. So that band is sitting over Buffalo right now. It's gonna sit over the South towns for certainly all of the morning and most of the afternoon. It is still not safe to be out and driving and really, frankly, to be out walking around in that band. And so even if you have a moment of reprieve, we see this with lake effect all the time. You look out your window, you think, what's the big deal? And then that band comes in a couple minutes later or an hour later, and it's a total whiteout and really dangerous. So be patient, stay at home. We've got hundreds and hundreds of crews out making sure folks are safe and cleaning up these roads for when we're able to lift this ban.
Sorry, Jackie, there you are. There I am. I want to ask a couple of questions that viewers are giving us, and we haven't been able to answer this question yet, so I'm hoping that you can. Janie, for instance, wondering, can private contractors be out despite the bans that are in place to clear driveways, sidewalks, etc.?
Yeah, right now, not driveways and sidewalks. There are private contractors that are contracted to government agencies or, say, the hospitals, the dialysis centers, who can be out clearing those areas, but not just a private contractor. You know, I've got someone that comes and does my driveway. I wouldn't be able to have him out and doing my driveway right now, not until we lift this ban. That's really to keep everyone safe. We've seen too often that the more people on the road, the more people get stuck, the more it's impossible for us to get ambulances through, for us to get police and fire through, and for us to get the plows out and working.
So Jackie, walk us through the decision to either keep the travel ban in place or lift it, because we know for extreme places in southern Erie County, that travel ban has been lifted. But for the majority of Erie County, that travel ban is still in effect until further notice. When can we expect that travel ban to be lifted, and what goes into that decision making?
Yeah, so I can't tell you when we expect it to be lifted, because it's really, we reevaluate every couple hours working with County Executive Poloncarz and Mayor Brown. But let me tell you and your viewers sort of how these decisions get made. You know, this is Western New York, right? A little of snow, a foot of snow, 2 feet of snow, sometimes 3 feet of snow. It's not a big deal, and everyone can handle it. This is about the intersection of the snow and the wind and the cold. What we are most worried about are whiteout conditions. When we have whiteout conditions where you can't see the end of your driveway, you can't see the house next door, drivers can't see beyond a car length in front of them. That's what we worry about the most. And that's when we institute travel bans. And so that's really about the speed of the wind and the intensity of the snowfall. When we get 2, 3, 4 inches of snow falling in an hour, that's when we put travel bans on the table. When we see wind gusts over 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, that's when we put travel bans on the table. And that's what we're all looking at over the course of the next several hours to see when that weather is going to dissipate and we can tell everyone it's safe to travel again.
Well, and Jackie, so I'm seeing a comment here also coming in from Savannah, and this is kind of like the antithesis of what you're saying. Savannah is saying the governor wants to feel like they're doing something positive. The weather is not bad at all. This is normal winter weather. I understand that you work for the governor, but what is your response to that?
Well, let me say, I think we have, one of the most sort of weather literate leaders out there in Governor Hochul, and she's from Western New York. She is hardy. She knows how to deal with a snowstorm, but it is also her job and our job to keep everyone safe. I don't know where exactly your viewer is, but I can tell you that when you are in these bans, the driving conditions are near impossible. That's not us saying that. That's the National Weather Service and our partners in the Weather Enterprise saying that. And so we take those warnings very seriously. And that is true. I've had my own staff over the course of today have different moments where they've had to pull over, have different moments where they've been at the, unable to get where they need to go. So I get it. Lake effect is odd and it can be confusing because you have moments where it's whiteout and then hours where it feels okay. The challenge is if you're in an area where it feels okay, you might be driving into the whiteout conditions. That's very dangerous.
Jackie, I want to ask you this question too, because we've had a couple of viewers ask this throughout the morning. How far east is this travel ban going? We've had questions about Genesee and Orleans County. Can you shed some light on that and what people there need to know?
Yeah, absolutely. So for passenger vehicles, the travel ban right now is only Erie County and obviously not the 7 towns in the far south east of Erie County. For commercial vehicles, the travel ban for the thruway extends from Henrietta, which is all the way out in Rochester, all the way down to the Pennsylvania border. And so if you're in Genesee County, if you're in Orleans County, if you're on state roads or if you're on the thruway and you're a commercial trucker, you are still under a ban. But if you're just a passenger vehicle, that travel ban is specifically for Erie County.
And we know 109 violations, as you mentioned in our last half hour, have been given out overnight, 65 to passenger vehicles, 44 to commercial vehicles traveling on the thruway. And those carry along with them hefty fines. And Jackie, while we have you, obviously all eyes are on Orchard Park for tomorrow, especially with this huge Bills Steelers game. So walk us through your conversations with the governor and the NFL. What can we expect in terms of decision making? Will the game go on tomorrow?
Oh, yes, the game will go on tomorrow and the Bills will win. But the game,
over here.
I have no doubt that the game will get played tomorrow. I have been personally on the phone with the Steelers, making sure that they can get in safely. The governor has been personally on the phone with the commissioner of the NFL for days now. The governor made the decision in consultation with the NFL that it was not safe to have 70,000 people heading to Orchard Park right now. And I think the weather is bearing that out to be really a wise decision and true. The NFL agreed with her. They agreed to move the game to 4:30 on Monday. The Steelers are coming in this afternoon. They will get here safely. We will make sure of that. And this game will get played tomorrow and it'll get played safely. Fans will be safe getting there and fans will be safe leaving.
MD wondering when this travel ban will end. And as you just heard from Commissioner Bray, they are evaluating this, and this ban in Erie County is in effect until further notice. Commissioner Bray, thank you so much for being with us. We certainly appreciate you and your time this morning. Thank you for keeping us safe.
Thanks so much.
All right, you heard it. The Steelers are coming in this afternoon. That game's going on tomorrow.
We should also address the elephant in the room here. This is totally not planned. This is totally by coincidence, and we are so sorry.
Yeah, we can't
for
believe
doing
it.
this. Wearing black and gold on what would have been a wild card day where we want the Bills to win.
So what usually happens if you watch our morning show is that we color coordinate every single morning. And coming in on a Sunday, we kind of both just grabbed whatever we were thinking.
Yeah.
My thought was, I'm going to grab a sweater because it's warm. Your thought was, it's a Sunday, I'm not going to wear a suit.
Right.
And look what we did.
Black and gold.
But that's the thing. We wore it today, not tomorrow. So
Yeah.
tomorrow is going to be the day we'll get it together.
Let's go to our 7 News reporter, Hannah Ferreira, who's live for us in Orchard Park. Hannah, good morning to you. Describe the conditions. We just heard from Commissioner Bray that it was going to be really hard to get thousands of fans in. What are you looking at?
Yeah, hi, Ed and Katie. 100%. I'm in front of Highmark Stadium right now. I don't even know if you can see it behind me. I think the biggest thing that we're learning today is the difference, the matter of minutes or even seconds can make here. When I got in front of Highmark Stadium probably about an hour ago, I could see a peak of blue sky. There have been moments where you can't see anything. I can't even see a foot in front of myself. It depends on the minute. There's okay visibility right now. I'm guessing you guys can see, a glimmer, a shadow of the stadium behind me, but every once in a while you can't see right in front of you, and it's crazy because there's a massive stadium and you can't even see it. So I have to say, personally, I've never had my eyelashes freeze and my eyes freeze together, but that is happening to me today outside here in Orchard Park. The conditions are definitely not ones that fans can be outside tailgating in, for sure.
And Corey's kind of weighing in here. He says, it looks clear to me. The phone might not be doing it justice here. The camera here.
I've been trying to take videos on my phone today for social media, and the phone does not do it justice. It's kind of the opposite when you see, a pretty sunset and you try to take a picture and post it, doesn't do it justice. The phone does not do the conditions justice here, for sure. Definitely. We've only really been seeing plows and emergency vehicles out on the road. Luckily, we haven't been seeing pedestrian cars, but yeah, this wind and this snow is crazy, and it's really only getting worse throughout the time we've been here today.
Yeah, realistically, we know that's where that band is going to be shifting to, down on the South Towns and pretty much right over Orchard Park. And you know what? Maybe the phone doesn't exactly do it justice, but you take one look at Hannah and you can tell exactly what those conditions are like.
Poor Hannah. She's so cute and tiny, and we
I know
love
she's
you.
the tiniest thing. Don't go away,
I'm
Hannah.
happy I didn't do my hair today. I don't think that was a smart decision. Yeah.
Hannah Ferreira live for us in Orchard Park. Hannah, thank you. I want to bring in Bill Geary. He is the Commissioner of Erie County's Department of Public Works. Bill, good morning to you once again. Thank you so much for joining us. The question that we keep getting over and over again is about who is considered an essential employee here, because we know that there's a travel ban in place in Erie County, except for extreme southern Erie County. What can you tell us? Bill, we're having trouble with your microphone here, so I don't know if you're using an AirPod or something, but we're not hearing your microphone.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. Sorry about that. Yeah. Good morning. We got all the level 1 is where we're at. So it's healthcare, first responders, public works employees, anything that deals basically with life safety. We have links on the Erie County web pages. You can look up to see if you're confused whether you can report to work. Your employer during a driving ban can't mandate you to come to work if you're not in that level 1 category of workers. And quite honestly, I just came in. I've been driving around since about 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning to try and get some good ground truth on what's happening on the roads. And like everybody's been saying, when you're in those bans, it's near impossible whiteouts. If I did get out of the truck a couple times, and when that wind's picking up, you can barely breathe. So I seen your reporter there. Kudos to her being able to talk on the mic outside in this wind.
Yeah. Bill, another question that we're getting from a lot of people is, when is the travel ban going to end? Talk us through the discussions that you're going to be having in the next couple of hours and what people can expect to hear and when that information might come out.
Yeah, so we're getting real-time information from our plow truck drivers, from law enforcement. We're communicating, like Commissioner Bray said, we're all part of that matrix with the state throughway DOTs throughout all the towns and villages, as well as supervisors, elected leaders. There's constantly being reevaluated. Hopefully, if the winds can die down a little, we've seen in lake effect snow where we don't have a full driving ban, but with these winds above 40 miles an hour, conditions go rapidly to zero visibility. It's really unsafe. We would hate to see, a lot of motorists out there and then have to deal with people being stuck on the roads and then trying to get people out in these conditions. And I have to agree with Commissioner Bray. The general public's done an awesome job maintaining the posture, staying in, heeding all the warnings, and staying off the roads, which has made it very successful for us to get around and keep all the roads open, get them clear, as well as the crews later on this evening probably going to be cleaning out Highmark Stadium and everything else.
Bill, I'm glad that you mentioned that because that was where my next question was going. How do you now make sure that the area around Highmark Stadium is clear to allow for 70,000 people to come into the stadium for the wild card game?
Yeah. So those beats as well as all the other roads, the county's got 1,200 center miles of road. We plow about 600. We contract with other municipalities to do the other 600. The trucks, the workers, they've been out. Again, I'd have to reiterate, the crews have been out since the windstorm started. So we've been working 12-hour shifts. We don't intend to not give up on any staffing until later in the week. Hopefully get some of the workers some rest and the equipment some rest. But for right now, it's a full all hands on deck, running 12-hour shifts, and all the roads will still be maintained and safe for everybody to be out tomorrow and get a Bills victory.
You know, we talked to the Orchard Park Chief of Police a little while ago, and he also mentioned the most important thing initially is going to be clearing those streets around the stadium and then also the parking lots as well. Do you anticipate people who have tickets to the game getting information at some point in when they're allowed to actually come down to the stadium? And will there be any information that you guys are planning to give out about that?
Yeah, first and foremost, once the driving ban's lifted, people can do what they want to do. Go about their normal business. But until that driving ban, it's you can't be on the road really unless you're in that level 1. Right now, those roads are clear. I've driven all the roads around there. Abbott, California Road, those are all McKinley. Those are all county roads as well as the state roads. So the crews are out there. They're still plowing and keeping up with everything. We are getting some drifting. Obviously, the more snowpack we get, the lighter snow. So these crews, typically on our routes, it's about 4.5 hours to do a beat. So in 4 hours, you can imagine 2 to 3 inches an hour, and some of these winds, we can get some challenging drifts in there. But we can have everything essentially clear, opened up on all our roads by tomorrow. The game's at 4:30. We anticipate probably 5 hours prior people showing up, but we'll be on this all night and through the night and continue to make sure everything's safe for everybody tomorrow.
Bill Geary, Erie County's Department of Public Works Commissioner. Bill, thank you so much for being with us once again this morning. We appreciate you and all your hard work overnight into today. Moments ago, Governor Hochul tweeted that as dangerous weather conditions continue, a travel ban remains in place for most of Erie County. Crews are working to safely clear roads and restore power. She's asking that you please stay home. And I want to reiterate one more time for you the places where this travel ban is in effect until further notice. And it's going to be a lot, so bear with me as we read you all of these towns and cities. Grand Island, Tonawanda, Amherst, Clarence, Newstead, Alden, Lancaster, Cheektowaga, Buffalo, Lackawanna, West Seneca, Elma, Marilla, Wales, Aurora, East Aurora, Orchard Park, Hamburg, Boston, Eden, Evans, and Brant, all under travel bans until further notice. There are places where this travel ban has been rescinded. That includes Colden, Holland, Sardinia, Concord, Collins, and North Collins. So again, those are the only places where the travel advisory has been lifted. One of the places, again, where there is still a travel ban is Kenmore and the Tonawanda.
We've been keeping our eyes. We've had reporters out throughout the morning. I want to bring in our Eileen Buckley, and boy, you can hear what the wind is like when she joins us. Eileen, good morning to you. Let's talk about what you're seeing in Kenmore and what you've seen throughout the morning.
Oh, absolutely. Good morning, Canadian. Thank you for doing this too. It's great to keep everyone informed. Plow just going by along Colvin. I'm near the corner of Colvin in Kenmore, where I live, and I think people have been listening to the driving ban. My street is usually a pretty through traffic street where a lot of traffic comes down here to get to Colvin, and I have seen really hardly any cars, just some snow plows going through. So that's a good thing that people are obeying. Several inches of snow has fallen here. I was first out the door of our house this morning. Our neighbor has already plowed some of the sidewalk here, which is nice, but you can see it's at least several inches of snow in Kenmore. It keeps oscillating back and forth. 1 minute as you've been telling everyone, it's nice somewhere. The next minute a snow band comes through and there's zero visibility at times. So it's kind of tough out here. The conditions are very cold and windy. The only ones that seem to be out enjoying it were my little neighbor kids before. They were out on their back porch throwing snowballs at each other, and they were all dressed for the cold winter weather. The other thing I had heard that was going on a little while ago was that there was a mutual alarm fire in Kenmore. It was in the 2400 block of Elmwood, and it was in an apartment complex at the corner of Elmwood Avenue and Westgate. So we're hoping everything is okay there. But I believe they got everybody out, but certainly not a great condition to have to fight a fire in this weather right now and what's happening with this storm moving back and forth.
Eileen, we could hear the winds whipping through. I mean, that's the problem here. It's whipping up all the snow, creating those whiteout conditions.
It really is, Ed, and that's the problem. Anything that's already been on the ground is really what is, I think it looks like it's snowing again because of that. And you can see just a lot of drift areas, just very cold conditions. Hopefully you can see through here. This is looking down my street right now. And it's getting dreary again. It was, it was a little bit almost sunnier before, but now it's back to that just dreary, cold, wind-whipped weather.
And you know what's so funny, Eileen, is that Bob was just tweeting me. He says, all clear, the sun is shining in the town of Tonawanda. I mean, this is really changing moment by moment.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, in our house, we're located in Kenmore. We're right off of Colvin. And it seems like we always get the lake breeze. So we're right in that direction of lake effect snows all the time. I mean, in the summer, it's great when we sit on our patio. We get that beautiful lake breeze. But in the winter, we always get clobbered here in Kenmore. At least it seems so.
Understood, Eileen. Yeah. So like we were talking about, this band has been moving back and forth. So now Eileen is showing you what it's like in Kenmore right now. Eileen, thank you. I want to show you what it's like in the South Towns again. Let's take a look at Orchard Park and bring up our Adam Campos camera, because you can see again, there you go, the tale of two cities, right? Orchard Park. That's Highmark Stadium in the background right there.
Well, and so Macy weighing in here saying that in West Seneca, it's pretty bad. There's a whiteout. So, I mean, this is indicative of the problem here, right? It's the tale of two cities as that band continues to shift north and south. And I'm looking at 7 Super Doppler this morning. That band looks like it's really kind of organized now compared to what it was doing a little while ago. And we can bring in our chief meteorologist, Aaron Minkowski, to describe what's going to happen from here.
All right, guys, there we are with that band of snow right now. Orchard Park just getting pummeled with that band of snow. We're watching that band as it drifts southward. It's very fascinating to see. So you have the heavy snow that just moved away from Buffalo, and now it's making its way toward. Oh, let me tell my boss, yes, I heard you. We have 3 minutes left. So, yep, I hear you. He just keeps asking, can you hear me? I'm like, yes, yes. So looking at the radar right now, there we go. Watch that heavy band out over Lake Erie, moving off toward the east, making its way toward the South Town. So you have the heavy snow that's moving southward, and it's really going to start its focus in the South Towns as we get toward late morning and early afternoon. Skies are starting to clear out a bit. Grand Island, North Tonawanda, back toward Lockport, Amherst, but now Buffalo, you're just on the northern edge. Things are starting to improve for you folks as well over toward Clarence. Batavia, though, still whiteout conditions. You look at the NITEC cameras from Pembroke eastward toward Batavia, you can hardly see a thing. There were some breaks in the band, but now the band is continuing to strengthen again. Lackawanna toward Elma, Hamburg. Let's go to Orchard Park with this radar. Look at that. Right over OP. Snowfall rates about 2 inches per hour with winds around 40 to 50 miles per hour. Visibility is close to zero. And that band is going to hang out across the South Towns through late morning into early this afternoon. So here's the hour-by-hour forecast. Again, there's that band drifting southward. It's been an oscillating band. We've really tried to emphasize that this band is not going to stay in just one spot. It's going to move around quite a bit, but it does stay basically Buffalo to Batavia southward through this afternoon. Then watch what happens. Back to the north tonight and into tomorrow morning, and then during the day on Monday, that band shifts even further northward, away from Buffalo and away from the stadium. You'll see additional accumulations today in that area where the band is in the South Towns, another, say, 8 to 14 inches of snow on top of what you already have. Orchard Park, you already have 12 inches of snow. You will get more. As far as winds are concerned, gusting near 50 right now, gusting near 40 at 2 p.m., gusting closer to 35 miles per hour by 6 p.m. So strongest winds will be through late this morning. They taper off as we get into the afternoon. It's cold, 17 in Buffalo, 19 in Niagara Falls, 10 in Jamestown, and then winds gusting 35 to almost 55 miles per hour. That's what's the latest on the weather. We'll head back now to you guys in the studio.
All right, very good, Aaron. Thank you. Want to let you know, again, the city of Buffalo is going to give us an update around 2 o'clock this afternoon. We'll make sure that we bring that to you on our streaming.
Again, that travel ban in Erie County is in effect for the majority of Erie County, except for those extreme southern towns and villages. I want to leave you with this one poem that was just sent to us by Scott. We love this. This is hysterical. Roses are red, violets are blue. Thank you for the updates. I'm making beef stew.
Scott, you've got the right idea today. Staying in during that travel ban. And please, everyone, take care. Be very safe.
We'll see you right back here tomorrow morning starting at 5 a.m. Have a great day, everyone.